It's over.
Yo, mama.
Yeah, tonight, Witch is bringing the meat. I'm bringing the veggies, audience. So, yeah.
Listen, guys,
Wait, I'm
guys,
surprised that Ultimate Wolverine is in this book.
Guys, this is a momentous occasion. I'm off of Metro Nui. It's over. It's done. It's over.
I'm surprised that you guys didn't put Ultimate Wolverine. It did come out this last week.
You know, it's a challenge to put up a book, Witch, like, because we have other books we want to talk about too. You know, I wanted to talk about that what's it called, that TVA book that came out, the one that has Jimmy Hudson, but you know, we're just not going to have time, you know. So
no, fair enough.
Yeah, I would have did Wolverine, but I'm not gonna be here all night.
That you guys wanted to talk about it, but it's all good. Don't worry about it. I
I'm not gonna be here the whole time, so I'm not doing my second book. I'm just doing Daredevil.
yeah, and I mean, I also saw one of the variants showing that yes, Ultimate Wolverine is Logan. So
yeah. I was not surprised. Okay, no one here is surprised. I'm just gonna be skimming through it. You know, I'm not gonna be like fully reading this book. You know,
no, it's like good.
It's like how I'm
reading.
I'm just kind of whatever reading it.
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead, start the intro, I guess.
Okay. Welcome to Comic Phanatic Live, the reviews of the week, audience. You're here with me. They call me the Cryptid. I came here unscripted. I'm Cryptid, the Zeker man. Beep, beep.
Wow, that's a really creative intro, Cryptid. Everyone give him a round of applause.
No!
Did you practice that? What was going on, bro?
Hey, I said it. I said it in the intro.
Popeye theme. Jake Nation, come on. You should keep up.
I came here unscripted, Jake. All right.
Anyway, it is I, Jake Talonal. I've been through hell and back. I've read 2 books, 62 chapters, but I'm free. Okay, I'm free. That's all that matters.
He's lying. Anyway, Bricky Wall here. For heads up, I'm going to be leaving after my book, just so everyone know. And that's about it. Go ahead, Witch.
Hi, I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim, pronouns they, he, and no gay polycules tonight. However, you do get a lot of monsters. You do get some gay monsters, so you get a lot of meat. You're gonna get a lot of lore drop today. So I hope you've been paying attention.
Yes, and together we form the Fanatics, and we talk about the news and reviews of the week. And on this night, our special nights, we will be talking about the comic news. Comic reviews. We already did comic news yesterday. Check out our Monday episode. Yeah, so we'll be talking about some Daredevil, as you see on the cover. We got some Monster High, some Popeye, some anime Popeye. All right, I actually do like the art to this, by the way, Krypton. We'll get into it. But I do like the art to this.
Got a lot to talk about that.
Popeye has been getting a lot of love. So just know that he has a comic out right now.
And just to speed things along, we have not just one, not just 2, we have 3 Bionicle reviews, so we can finally get off of the Island of Metro Nui and onto the saga I always want to talk about. Since the
don't worry, audience, you do get Christopher Chaos this month. Finally,
Christopher Chaos is also coming in as well. So it's gonna be an exciting day. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that bell, so even though we're always gonna be here on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Sundays. Not Sundays. Sundays are our special nights if important movies come out. And also
sometimes you might get lucky and it'll be on another random night. Can I promote?
Yes, go do it.
So audience, on Friday night at the same time as always, nothing else, like the time has not changed. Please join me, maybe Austin, and 2 awesome guests to talk about Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. We will be talking. We'll be doing a lot of talking, and my friend who couldn't make it might text me some stuff about night creatures. So if you're interested in night creatures, we might be talking about that. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
So everyone give Austin good vibes so that he can pull up for the Friday live.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, we'll see. But that said, we have social medias, which could go into.
Yes, I can go into because you could subscribe to us, please. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, okay? Like if you want to be nice, if you want to be a nice little fantic, you go do that, okay? You also can follow us on Twitter at Comic Fanatic 69. And yes, Cryptid did tell me to make that the username, okay? That was totally not my fault. Just remember that, okay?
Yeah,
Anyways,
blame
if
me.
you don't want to follow the whole squad and you just want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U. I do try to post on there sometimes, but a lot of the times I just retweet stuff, you know? You could also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at witch_of_Jotunheim. I do try to post stuff on there too. So stay tuned for that nonsense, you know? Yeah, because my nonsense is fun nonsense sometimes, okay? You can also follow me on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Northstar Aria, and you can follow me on Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note, at Witch of Jotun, with a U this time. If you want to find Austin, he might be in a new movie soon. Who knows what's going to happen? Cryptid's in the same spot as always, eating his ice cream. And, hey, Jake, where you at?
Well, I'm resting on a grateful universe as I wait for my next trip. So, who knows?
Cool.
There you go.
All right. I guess with that, let's head on into the comics of the week, audience.
Jake
So,
didn't put it on the floor. He didn't plug the movie reviews. You fell off.
That is true. But you know what, Austin? You could have done it too. Craven's your favorite movie.
I didn't want to do it though.
Oh, shit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that was not my fault. I did my job, okay? I did my job.
I did my job along with 3 other jobs at once. So,
Also,
yeah.
before we
Jake
start
misses
officially,
one intro and messes up the whole thing the next day. Never forget that.
before we officially start, I just wanted to say that the original tweet that I posted about Castlevania Nocturne has officially 40 likes and 6 retweets, and then the one officially announcing what we're doing has currently 14 likes, 3 retweets, and 4 bookmarks. So who knows what's going to happen on Friday?
Yep.
And also,
Cool.
if you ship Alucard and Maria, I will personally fight you because I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
That's so weird though.
Yeah. It's been going on for years. It's been going on for years, for decades at this point. Trust, I know.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Anyway.
Oh, you
Right.
want to be game wise, whatever.
No, not
But
even
if you do
game-wise,
show
because
wise, that'd
Maria
be
is
worse.
17 when she first meets Alucard. She's like 16, 17 when...
I don't think Alucard cares. He seems kind of weird.
Okay, which we only have Austin for a limited time only today, so let's get to it. So, all right.
Sorry, go Austin, go. Ignore me.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I posted this picture so people can see the full art, uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
But we're on Daredevil, Unleash Hell #1. Go to the next photo.
Boom, yeah.
As you can see, this is explicit content. There is blood in these panels, but because I didn't know what YouTube thing was like, I did not post any real blood. So if you want to see the real bloody version of this book, you have to go buy it yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm doing
All right,
that
go
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good issue. If you don't remember, Elektra's been Daredevil since I want to say halfway through the last run before Devil's Reign.
God dang, I know.
It's like either it was because of Devil's Reign or right before Devil's Reign.
Right before Devil's Reign, it was halfway into Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run that she became.
Oh yeah, Daredevil got out of jail during Devil's Reign. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And since then, she never went back to being Elektra.
Yeah, but it's all good. Her outfit's good enough to let it slide for now.
And all. Go ahead.
Good. No, you finished what you were saying.
I was about to say, and we all know that Elektra on her own won't really have a longevity stay of her comics. So yeah.
No, at least there are people aren't fighting over who's Daredevil. Okay, people accept that she's just Elektra wearing the outfit.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. There you go.
But The issue starts off action packed. She's breaking into a drug area. She's breaking all. This is what people think Batman is. She comes in. I didn't post this map, but she breaks a man's teeth, breaks a man's kneecap, breaks a man's hand. No, to be fair, these are never mind. They all three of them have the same guy. Never mind. I'm gonna say these three people. She put this guy up. She kicks a guy down. She's at the top of a spiral staircase. She kicks him in over the banister, and then she's like, "Oh my god, I almost killed him!" And she throws the billy club thing to catch his leg. And she can't kill people while wearing Daredevil's outfit. That's the promise she made. I believe it was when she put the costume on, and she reaffirmed it when she married him. Because Daredevil and Elektra are married right now. People don't remember. Actually, I don't know if they're still married. He lost his name and all that other stuff.
They're married by hand standards. That's it, not an official ceremony.
No, we don't need an official priest. Daredevil's a priest that counts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where's the ring, Austin? I don't see a ring on her finger.
You know what? I'm gonna find a ring one day. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
But we get to a panel on like go ahead. What do you want to say?
No, go ahead.
We get to a panel of them trying to, I guess, showcase how they're putting the drugs, how they make them. And Elektra comes through and basically easily dispatches the whole room, as you see in the picture above. You read it from top, and you just follow like a squiggly line, or going through the whole room of people. This is pretty cool. We haven't seen a panel like this in a while in Daredevil release. These panels mostly be in Moon Knight.
Yep.
But she is like what?
Yeah, the after image effect. Yeah.
But she is messing these people up. She's breaking their helmets. People getting glass in their face. She accidentally sets a guy on fire because he falls to the chemicals. The place blows up. People definitely died here. A lot of it. They definitely died here, bro.
Screw that whole "I'm not killing anybody under this costume" gimmick. Come on.
To be fair, she didn't mean to. She's like, I was wrong. It hurts worse than hell. I messed up. It was not expected. She didn't set the guy on fire. She kicked the guy. He bumped into some chemicals, and the fire caught his outfit.
Wow. Well, sounds like somebody needs a session of confession in the Catholic Church. It seems like it, you know? Forgive me, Father.
Yeah, she's like, I should leave. The anti-vigilante act is still...
Oh, what? God, really?
Really? Oh, no. It was, no. It looked like it was taken away. It was repealed, but that doesn't mean people or police still want some vigilantes. Like, they're fine with some. They're not fine with all of them. They think it's too many. That's fine. They're right. There's too many vigilantes out there.
Yeah, just wait till the next... Yeah, just wait until the next Thanos Evasions happens in New York, and I would like to see them sing that same tune. Oh, we have too many vigilantes.
It's all fun and games until Thanos decides to attack like Africa or something, and then y'all bitch be messed up.
I'm sorry. Storm is a bigger level mute now. Storm is a god now. I'm pretty sure we can take care of that. Your little Thanos.
Storm has always been a god.
Oh yeah, that is. She is a no. She had the title of a goddess. That's not the same thing. That's what they're saying.
She will always be a goddess to me.
No, not you, Jake. I'm talking about Witch.
She will always be a goddess to me. Okay, get your facts straight. Stop being like Charles.
Right now, she is the wielder of the multiversal eternity.
I don't know. Just continue on with the book. I want to know more about Elektra.
They're just making up power-ups at this point, so just continue on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we meet a young girl named Morgan, and she's painting. She's trying to figure out she needs some inspiration. She's trying to paint. She's talking to her mentor, and she paints this picture, which looks like a statue of some soldier, but there's blood all where the head should be, and there's blood all over the picture. That's the next thing.
Okay.
Obviously, the guy thinks it's red paint, but he's like, "Are you trying to recreate the Goya with this?" I know the public domain is considered public domain, but to capture the feeling of the color control, you have to sometimes take a like. And he's like, what?
Ooh.
What are you talking about? But as you see in this photo, the the ghost of Muse. I don't know how else to describe it. The ghost of this guy starts coming up and whispering in her ear. It's some weird shit. Bro. Even my Marvel stand, it's just casually weird.
Hey, like that's his. Hey, living art, man. Art passes after your body's gone. You know.
And he's literally whispering in her ear. He's like, "Oh, look at this pompous ass." And she's like, "What? Are you talking to me?" He's like, "Yes, Morgan. I do hope you're not listening to this asshole right here. It's true that those who can't do teach. I'll show you how to put real art. You put your soul on that canvas, and he talked bad about it. He has to go. He does not see your vision, so you make him the vision. I'm your mentor, your muse, and you know what you need to do."
Wow.
And she kills the man.
I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but
What's up?
we already have the vision. Okay, I can't make another one. That's just copyright.
Actually, Jake, we have 3 visions because let's not forget there's the vision from Invaders too. So the one that's an
We
alien.
also technically have 4 visions because we have Viv Vision. She is a vision.
Where's the vision one?
He's with the Avengers, all right.
Vision for everyone who can see well, just out here fighting.
Says right again. Yeah, 20/20 eyesight. Get in this war.
But yeah, she kills her
Okay,
teacher.
we continue on.
And Muse is like, "Guess what? We're going to make a statement. How you feel about the media? How you feel about all that? Reinvention is the key to a long career. Do not fret. We will find your medium and your audience. So let's go ahead and get some more supplies." After, and I was like, "This is kind of interesting," but like him being a ghost and all this, that comes out of nowhere. And, like, if you know what this guy's powers are, so we'll see the explanation of that later. But it's just funny how weird it is initially. But Elektra is stitching herself up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said art lives through his creations, you know, so or something like that.
So Elektra is stitching herself up. She got cut in her stomach, face, arm, leg. She'll get messed up. And after you go to the next photo.
Oh yeah, the prize shot audience.
Funny enough, this is we cut for Elektra filling her wounds to this photo, so I was very concerned. I thought she was seeing a vision or something. But this is actually what Muse drew in Hell.
Whoa. Yeah, this is definitely has Muse craftsmanship all over it, audience. You know, he likes using human body parts as part of his canvases, you know, so
he's like me for real.
It's funny. Like, he says, "Why not the Daredevil I would have chosen? There is a certain appeal, and this will get the devil's attention." So before he goes after Bat, he's gonna go after Elektra. Without like, you know what, whatever, I guess. But you see him, he's scripted. He's painting with he's holding someone's arm and using that person's arm to paint.
Oh God. Damn.
And I was like, bro, how do you do that? How does the other arm even have a grip to hold the paintbrush?
Yeah, that's the spirit of the artist, you know, like still keeping that brush stroke there, you know. So
I don't think, like, who is he killing in Hell to get these body parts?
This is so Muse, audience. Not literally. One of his artworks in the past, right, was literally painting a portrait using blood mixed with several different people, several different victims, all blended together, different shades of blood. Like, oh boy, yeah.
This painting here, it was made with Old Negative. How do you feel about that?
Old Negative? Wait, what was that?
This picture here was painted with Negative blood.
Wait, are you serious?
I mean, look, old blood. Yeah, he has a blood type.
Oh, okay. Why? I mean, you mean to tell me they're pulling another Kiss situation where somebody donated their blood for the printer ink?
No. I'm saying he did
Oh,
in hell. He used so that's the blood he used. That's what the red paint is.
oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, all right. So,
No, I was
yeah.
we were doing anything weird like that. We'll talk about that stuff, right? But
It was okay in the '80s, but apparently it's too big for modern day audience to mix your blood in with the red ink.
I
Yeah.
mean, people can still use
but
it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we get a short recap of his history for people who didn't read the book. So you see him fight Daredevil in his mind, see him lose, you see him grab blind spot. They don't show him blind him though, which is a missed opportunity.
No.
And then you see Muse's death. But as he does this, he looks up and Morgan is falling down to where he is. As he hits the ground hard as shit. You see a lot of people falling.
Okay.
But I don't he said it kills you. Let's see what it says. I always suspected out I'll never know until now that what happens when a creative soul is rejected. It kills you inside and out, and part of your soul dies. But now
Mhm.
I am here. He said that Morgan falls in front of him, and you get an image of her. Go to the next one. You get this. That's her falling. There goes Muse's reveal. That's his first full look in the picture, I believe.
He got buff, man, in hell.
Yeah, he's
I
working
remember.
out.
Yeah, he was scrawny when we saw him in what's his name? Damn, what? I'm blanking on his name. That attorney who turned into the comic book writer. Oh yeah, Charles Soule. Sorry. Yeah.
That's that explains why the courtroom stuff is so interesting. They do the actual attorney. That's kind of funny.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but when you have to fight in hell for your blood supply or for your art supplies, I guess you would get buffed up a little bit. Who knows what you're
I
down
guess.
here fighting?
He had to work for that.
But
He had to work for his materials, man. That's what it
Sheep
is.
a blood
You know.
warrior.
I dare
I'm making
somebody to
real
try.
blood.
Yeah, I dare somebody to try getting a commission from this guy. Yeah. You'll be an associate to a crime audience, you know. So yeah, you'll be an
but you
accomplice.
also will probably have the greatest photo, like the most expensive photo ever, if you sell it.
Mhm. You'll definitely be one of a kind, man. Because I don't know too many people who would do the same artwork. Muse would, you know.
And
So
you know, art it costs more after the artist dies. Imagine how many times music is gonna die and come back and die and come back. I'm just saying.
Ooh. Oh, there you go. Nice way of looking at it. You know. So
But he's basically saying I can, while I'm in hell, I can also help other artists, like myself, who feels
ooh,
lost, whose art gets rejected, like young Morgan here. And he's like, you know where you are? You're in hell, but I can help you get out. But you got to listen
okay.
to me. I'm going to show you the real way to do all this. Art inspires hope. With my help, you will understand that. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So that you
And
can
he
kill
says,
people.
show me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You can kill people and use them for art. Who's going to stop you? Daredevil? Probably. But that's where the
But
book
you'll kill some
ends. And I
people.
was like, so
Hey, if
I was
hey, if
surprised
people.
at how much they explained in the first issue because usually they don't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't know how he's reaching out of hell, but or how he got here. But I guess we'll find it out later. But it's so interesting to see how he's back, how he's influencing people, and what his plan seems to be so far. Because
Hey, you know.
if he just started doing like multiple artists or anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a crazy situation.
I know, right? Yeah, hey, he's more of a quality than quantity sort of character anyway. So I'm glad somebody had a good idea of what to do with him in bringing him back spiritually. I mean, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, because he might not be here. He might stay dead.
Mm-hmm.
But like we don't
He
know
doesn't.
yet. I wonder
He
if they're
doesn't
gonna
seem to
be
mind that.
if he's gonna be able to share his power with people though.
Ooh, that's gonna be an interesting twist. The sensory vortex audience.
Yeah, it won't really
That
do anything for
sound.
Elektra, but when he eventually goes back after Daredevil, that's probably going to be a bigger deal.
Oh yeah, that's true. If one thing I think would be funny if he had, when he talked to that girl, what was her name, Morgan?
Yeah.
Okay, if he says like, hey, who's gonna stop you by using people's body parts as art? Look at it this way: if somebody comes to try and stopping you, hey, that's more material for you right there.
That's literally
Yeah.
Bloody Painter.
What was that?
Yeah.
Which?
That's literally Bloody Painter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. There you go.
Do you not know who that is?
Who is it? Who are they?
He's a creepypasta character.
Ah, okay, okay. There you go. Is he an
Because he
Inhuman?
kills his victims and uses their blood for his art.
Oh, okay. So he just limits himself to their blood, not the whole body. Then,
Well,
right?
I don't know about that, but he did kill a lot of people before he started doing that.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, Muse goes with the whole body if he can, So that's his motif.
For some
You know?
reason, Bloody Painter has a dating sim.
Did you look
Wow.
him up?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's one of my favorite creepypasta, so please send me that, actually.
God.
Austin really
Wow.
said, "Who's that serial killer, dude?"
I wanted to see what he looked like because I don't know. Charles Soule could have just ripped off this guy. I don't know. But he don't look nothing like Muse.
Gotcha. Nah, Muse is cool. What do you think of his design, Witch?
I mean, it looks cool.
Come on, one artist to another. Come on,
I mean, I like his design, He looks like he
Mhm.
would be a really cool creepypasta character, not gonna lie. That's how I'm
Oh yeah.
basing all fictional serial killers. Would they look cool as a creepypasta character in the 2010s?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think so. Can I be honest with you? Can I be 100% real with you? And this is not me hating, okay? This is just me looking at him. He looks like he could be the avatar for someone who does creepypasta reading, like story readings on YouTube.
Ooh, I can see
Yeah,
that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that negatively, I mean that positively.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
So that's
as
it. Yeah.
an artist, if Muse does make more art in the future, if I made that one of the images, will you judge it?
Sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll judge it.
Okay.
Everybody's a critic, audience. So, alrighty then. Anything more in this book, Austin?
No, he left.
Oh, really? Okay, without even saying goodbye. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see how it is,
No,
Austin.
he went to go send me that dating sim, remember?
Yeah.
Gotcha. But regardless, this seems like a good issue. I'll be honest, like when I was at my comic book shop and I passed by the Daredevil book with Elektra, I really didn't pay much mind to it. But knowing that Muse is here and he's being done properly, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be picking up this issue when I go there tomorrow. So, yay, yay. All right. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we move on?
Nah.
No.
Okay. All right. So, hold on a sec. No, I just got a message. Okay, so yeah, it's just Austin saying, yeah, he blacked out and but he was pretty much done. So, all right. See you, Austin. All right then. I guess with that, we can move on to the next one. So,
All right.
Jake.
So, well, which left? But Cryptid, last time we were here,
Bro, I'm still here.
No, I'm talking about what I reviewed the first part of this. Last time we were here, by the way, welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our review to Bionicle Web of Shadows, which I've been reading on Crosswire Geeks. We are in the Web of Shadows arc, as any Bionicle fan can tell you by looking at these designs. We are right now at the midst of the final battle. The Toa have found Kitongu, the one person who can change them back into being Toa Metro. But he says he won't do it, implying that they need all 6 of them before he can do that. The only problem is Bakama is evil, so they have to, get Bakama back and also use their new powers to try to free the Matoran all in one go. So the final battle begins. Last time we left off, Mattel faced off against Bakama. Rudaka and Sidorak face off against Kitangu, and the Toa Hordika, the rest of them, 4 Toa, face an entire horde of spider-like creatures known as the Visorak. So, how will this play out? Well, it was. I think I have some problems with this retelling. I've slowly had problems with this book leading to this point. It feels like once we kind of snap back into place of the book lining up with the movie, that it lines up with it to a fault, even when it doesn't make sense to me. For instance, like I think Mattel versus Vakama, which is something from the movie, it doesn't really connect the same as it did in the movie because Vakama's reasoning for being a villain is so much more than what it was in the film. For those of you who don't remember, Vakama's turn to the dark side was because of a myriad of things. He was under a lot of pressure because he put it. You kind of went through his like. You guys see My Hero Academia, right? Like you guys, you know about it.
I'm aware about that. My nephew, that's more of my nephew's animation. I'm sorry, their anime, but I never got a chance to watch it. So
Well, he's Vakama in a darker way is going through his dark Deku arc, like the arc where Vakama, where Deku takes so much of All Might's responsibility that he becomes like an anti-hero almost, and that's what Vakama really is doing in the book version. He's leading the army of the Visorak, so he can kind of have control over it. So when the Toa are defeated, he can use the Visorak army to move the Matoran to Matanui, and they can just live their lives. He still thinks he's being a hero, not really understanding that he's turning to the dark side. And also along the way, even before he became a Toa Hordika, he was an asshole to his friends. I mean, like there was one part where like his friends could have been dead, but instead of checking on them, Vakama said, "I'm just gonna go scout ahead. If they wake up, they wake up." Like that's kind of like how much of an asshole Vakama has been. And while I think that's good for his character, like the reasons behind it were good for his character, it takes a lot more to me than a talking to from Mattel, at least the one from the movie, than to really turn him back to the good side. I think it took like it would take a lot more, like a different type of conversation. Like Vakama, you put this all on yourself, but you need us. So you know. But that said, there were a lot of things I did like over this version that the movie didn't do. In the movie, it's kind of just the Toa Hordika versus a whole army in the middle of the Colosseum. And this one, the Toa Hordika have an objective. They're trying to push their way past the army so they can get to the Matoran and they can just kind of, take as many as they can and get out. Which isn't a great plan, but I do like that it keeps the battle more focused. We also have one of my funniest moments. Cryptid, I promised you last week that there would be a funny femme fatale related death, and this did not disappoint.
Okay.
Yeah, so last week I introduced that Rudaka and Sidorak found out that Kitangu is real. And Rudaka is like, oh my god, this is my chance. I'm going to goad Sidorak into fighting Kitangu, knowing he has to protect his pride, in a battle that he knows he can't win. But he has to do it or he looks weak in front of me, and he wants me to be impressed, so I'm going to manipulate him into doing this fight. And Rudaka, and Sidorak tries to like shoot Kitangu down before he has to physically fight him. But he can't do it, so Rudaka's like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll do it. So she shoots it. So she shoots him, and Kitangu falls to the earth. That's where we were last week. Sidorak's like, oh, okay, cool, so we won. I don't have to fight him. And then Rudaka's like, no. How about we go down there and personally make sure he's dead? How about that? And Sidorak's like, yeah, sure. If that's what you want. So they go down there, and Kitangu's alive. Like, he's just waking up. Like, he's just a bit paralyzed and everything. And Sidorak's like, okay, well, now we're just going to team up and fight him together. And Rudaka's like, oh, no, you do it. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you do it. You're the king of the Visorak. You should fight him by yourself. And she just leaves. And I like this moment because Sidorak's like, but I can't beat him by myself. And Rudaka's like,
oh.
I know. And she just kind of leaves him. And then Kitangu kind of rises from the ashes and crushes this man to a pulp.
Dang.
And I was like, it's one of my favorite like deaths in all of Bionicle. But we do have the battle between Mattel and Vakama. And in the book, this fight is like it's pretty much the same. Like Mattel tries to fight Vakama, but like Vakama's like a feral fucking dog at this point, and Mattel's like kind of getting his ass whooped. And this leads to a speech from the movie. Now the movie kept it short and sweet. The book elongates this speech to a point where it just got annoying to read. The movie version is like very simple. I actually wrote it out. Give me 1 second. Yeah, the movie version of the speech is Mattel tells Vakama, I made a lot of mistakes. That's the hard part when you're the one making decisions. I understand that now. I'm sorry for doubting you, but our strength comes from our unity, Vakama, which means you can't be strong without us. You're our leader, Vakama, and more importantly, you're my leader. And we have a job to do, a duty. Rescuing the Matoran is our destiny. It's your destiny. If there's any of the Vakama I know left, he'll know what to do next. That's short, simple, sweet. Okay? This is the play. I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
The book version makes a whole big version of it. It's like, you're right, Vakama. I am weak. Nokama, Wanua, Anua, Nuju. We all are. I made a lot of fool mistakes lately, Vakama. That's what happens when you're brave, tough enough to make decisions. I understand that now. I just want you to know that I'm sorry for ever doubting you. You see, Vakama, that's the reason we're so deep. And it just goes on and on for like a long amount of time. I'm like, okay, that's how I get it. You're sorry. Just apologize at this point. But yeah, it's like the last one I read was like 3 to 4 sentences. The other one is a whole like 2 paragraphs of an apology. I'm like, oh my god. But the Toa do wind up coming together. Like so, Vakama winds up coming to his senses, and he does save Mattel as he's falling to his death. And Vakama comes up with a plan to turn everything around. Meanwhile, the Toa Hordika and the Rahaga, they've teamed up, but they're horribly outnumbered. So Rudaka kind of finishes them off. And she's like, okay, listen, so here's the deal. You pretty much lost. You're going to give me all your elemental powers because I need them to awaken Makuta because you sealed him in the last book. So I need you to give me your powers so I can awaken him. I need all of them. I already have Vakama's because he's on my side. So now I need yours. And Vakama's like, actually, sorry about that. What I'm here to tell you is I am a Toa again. And I actually do like this moment for Vakama because Rudaka's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, because I realized I want to be a leader that people want to follow. Like, I want to be someone that people look up to, not someone that people worship and fear like your army does. Speaking of which, you made the dumb decision of getting Sidorak to put me in charge of your slaved army. So that means I can tell them all to leave and they'll listen to me. And so he does, and they all leave. That's pretty brilliant. So Rudaka's like, okay, fuck it, you got me. So Vakama shoots the final shot to kill her, even though Norik says don't do it because he does it using his elemental powers. And the two have already shot her with their elemental powers. So when Vakama shoots her, it hits the heartstone in her chest, which is made of the same material that Makuta is trapped in. It's literally from the same crystal. And because that all elemental energies went back into that crystal, Makuta has been freed from his prison. But that's a different problem for a different day. As Vakama puts it, yeah, I know Makuta's back, but for some reason he doesn't scare me anymore, so I don't care. Our arc ends as does the movie. The Toa wind up getting all the Matoran free and getting on their airships. They're braver and stronger than ever, and they have saved the Matoran. This will become in legends known as the Great Rescue. But just as they're about to leave, Vakama has one last thing to do, and we'll come back to that after the movie review. But how do I feel about this arc in general? Like I said, I don't think it hits the same as the movie version, mainly because it's a more complicated story, so I think it needs a more complicated answer. I don't think it's ever addressed that Vakama's behavior, even before being a Toa Hordika in the book version, it was just like uncalled for. And I don't like that he doesn't even apologize for it. The Toa all leave on good terms, but it's like, I don't know. And the fact that Mattel in the book version is the one to save him, even though that is movie accurate, really Anua was the one who gave him the most shit, and they don't even have a conversation about it. And I feel like the thing with it also dealt with a lot of other things too. Like Vakama doesn't like the Toa Metru realized in this book they're not even supposed to be the Toa Metru. That was a different set of Matoran. They're supposed to have those powers, but even that doesn't get addressed. So like I'm not really quite a fan of how this was wrapped up, but the rest of the book as a whole, the Hordika saga, was really entertaining and really good and really expanded on the lore. I know the next book I will be reviewing at the end of the night is going to expand the lore like tenfold. Like this is going to open the world up huge. So I'm really excited to talk about that. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was a cool art, but could have been better. For anyone who doesn't know, you can read the Bionicle Adventures on Crossfire Geeks, the Biological Chronicle section. This is Bionicle Web of Shadows. So yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. Great way to start off the Bionicle night, man. So
Yeah,
cool. All right. Well, with that, I think we should move on to the next book, unless you have any final thoughts.
Nope.
Okay. All right then. Let's move on to the next.
Hi.
Which?
I'm going to be talking about Monster High New Scaresemester issue 5. Okay. So there's not that much dialogue, so I will be having to describe a lot more rather than reading some dialogue, if that makes sense. Okay. So we start off at the school with a whole bunch of zombies trying to get into the school because you know how zombies are. They're pretty slow. Okay. And so we cut to Claude and Claudine. I know the names aren't that creative, but just trust. And Claudine's like, okay, what do you want, Claude? Like, I've got calculus and, you know, and the teacher will bury my grade if I'm late. And Claude's like, what? Can't I just hang out with my little sis just cuz? And she's like, it's about Draculaura, isn't it? And he's like, come on, Claudine, maybe, you know, maybe like not mention her, you know, like maybe like I do have feelings for her a little bit, okay? And Claudine's like, nah, you missed your chance. You know she's been going through a lot lately. Like she's got like a monstrous amount of responsibilities, which I take that literally. And Claude's like, yeah, I know she's head of school, but can you please help a big bro out, please? And she's like, why don't you be an alpha and tell her yourself that you're still into her? He's like, why don't you do the same with Toralei? Or are you a scaredy cat? And I was like, boom, roasted. I was like, oh shit. You know, because I was like, damn. Because, you know, siblings, they got to do sibling things. And he's like, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. And she's like, nah, I know you hit the nail on the coffin. I am a bit scared. You know, mom and dad split up, you know, really fucked me over about commitment, you know. So not sure if I'm ready for that decision. Claude's like, I get it. You know, stuff like that's hard. Now, where's Cupid when you need her? Well, I could tell you where Cupid is because I actually do know Monster High lore. She transferred over to Ever After High, which is like, why would you do that, girly pop? We need you here. We need you here at Monster High to be slay, okay? But now, guess what, besties? In G3, we got her back. Woo! Anyways, we cut to Ghoulia. Cut to Ghoulia doing Ghoulia things. And so we're in calculus or clocculus. I don't know. I'm not good with the monster puns, so whatever. So as you can tell, the zombie students aren't going to be there. Are going to be a little bit late because you know how zombies are. So they started the class without her, which is all good. And so Ghoulia's trying to get down the halls, you know. And guess who stops her? Slow-mo, her boyfriend. Oh my god.
Wow.
And he gestures her to follow him and go through like this doorway because totally not creepy or anything. So that's what she does. And she's looking around following slow-mo, and guess what she sees? Guess what?
What?
We see Draculaura doing a blood ritual.
Ooh.
Of some flavor, and she's like, what is happening? Keep in mind, like I said, I haven't read Once Bitten, Twice Dead, so I couldn't tell you the context. So if you are a Monster High fan and you have read this book, please let me know why she might be doing a blood ritual. Okay, I cannot tell you because I don't know.
And here I thought we were done with blood discussions with the first book of the night. Here you
No,
go.
we get blood. But hey, this is not really gory blood. This is more like not much. She just cuts her hand and then she like put some blood on the wall. I don't know. That's all. Like we got one line of blood. That's all we get. So Slow-Mo and Ghoulia look at what happened, and so we cut over to the bathroom because of course, duh, why not? The ghouls have to hang out in the bathroom. And so Cleo is upset about Deuce, and also about the Crypt Creeper doing Crypt Creeper stuff and kind of ruining her life, And Ghoulia's trying to like help out her friend, the best that she can. And helps her give her tissues and all that other stuff. And Ghoulia's trying to tell her something, and I don't know zombie, unfortunately, so I can't really tell you what she's trying to say. But don't worry. Apparently, she's really perceptive about the fact that
zombie. It's just
exactly, actually. So yeah, and Cleo's like, you notice my skin glowing more than usual? I'll definitely have to share you my skincare routine later, but I must take my leave. So, like, I'll catch you later at the grave ball game. And so Cleo leaves her bag full of like little doodles and everything like that, And so Ghoulia gets the bright idea, which I love her so much. She's one of my favorite Monster High characters. I have her as a poster and 2 dolls of her. At least 2 dolls of her, okay? Like, she slays. I want to get her original doll, even if it's the Creep production, I love Ghoulia. She's a nerd like me. So she pulls out a comic that she made between her and the superhero of this universe, Deadfast, who is a zombie speedster, by the way, if you didn't know. Fun facts for me. Yeah.
When
The
his legs
fact
tear off
that
from running all the time.
Wait, what? What was that?
When his legs tear off from running all the time at that speed?
No, he's fine.
You would think when you get to Mach speed, all his flesh will be tearing itself apart,
But you gotta remember, this is the Monster High universe. It's fine. This is not realistic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyways, so Ghoulia is writing a little note to Cleo on her comic, and this isn't in zombie. This isn't like English. And I'm gonna read it verbatim because there's not a lot of dialogue. So she's like, Cleo, you deserve the kind of love you read about. Here's another story to add to your nightly scroll reading. Please let me know what you think, Ghoulia. And it's so cute. I'm like, I love her. Fun fact: there was like an episode of the web series where Ghoulia couldn't go to a convention to get a very rare Deadfast comic. And so Cleo decides to have all of her servants go into the raffle so that there's a larger chance that Cleo could win and give her the comic, which I was like, that's so sweet. Beasties for life.
Hey.
Anyway, so Ghoulia leaves the bathroom with Cleo's bag, and we see Draculaura fly past and everything, Ghoulia ain't no snitch. She ain't gonna tell anyone what she saw was Slow-Mo, okay? So we see, like, she walks past some game people, some people who are on the grave ball team. Jesus Christ. And so we find out that they didn't do so well on the thing. But hey, she goes to the bleachers anyway. She's just sitting there enjoying her time with the fresh air. And guess what? Someone grabs her from behind and takes her under the bleachers, leaving the bag there alone. And that's where the issue ends. Yeah, who knows what's gonna be next? I was like, how dare you touch my favorite ghoul, like fucking Ghoulia. Also, will I ever forgive G3 for kind of fucking over her design? I won't. I kind of won't forgive y'all because it's like she was not that hard of a character to do. But whatever, that's just me personally. But anyways, I've been enjoying this book so far. So if you're a Monster High fan and you want to get into more comics, yeah, go read Monster High New Scaresemester. It's been very good. And if you like reading novels, go read Once Bitten, Twice Dead. I guess I don't know. That's up to you. That ain't up to me, bestie. Or shall I say, beastie? Hey.
Well, it certainly sounds like it has all the angst you associate with a high school story, So
And
yeah.
more. But anyways, yeah, y'all gotta wait till next month. So, anyways, audience, please answer in the comments if you see this. What if you had to be a monster in the Monster High universe? What kind of monster would you be?
Good question.
I'd be a bird. They're the biggest monsters of all.
You want to be a bird monster?
I'll be Frankenstein. Hey, that'll come in handy since I work as an electrician, you know? So,
A
yeah.
Frankenmonster. So I
Yeah.
would either be a Jotun or I would be a Kumiho.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Or maybe
Hey,
a Fae, who knows?
Kumiho sounds badass. You can
Yeah,
shape
they eat the
that
liver
body.
of men. They eat the
Yep.
hearts and livers of men. And
And
they're
you
Korean fox spirits.
yep, and you
Or
can shape
maybe
shift.
I could be like one of those mixed breed ones, you know?
Yep, and you have the power to shapeshift too. So
In
there
a
you go.
sense. But like the thing about Kumihos is that yeah, they can transform to look human, but there's always one aspect of them that doesn't change back. Whether it's like their feet, their ears, their tails, you get the idea.
Gotcha.
But all right then. I guess with that, we should move on to the next book. So, all right, and I'm talking about this one.
I lie, Popeye, the Sailor Man. Beep beep.
Since we're now getting like old school cartoon characters in like comics and manga and stuff, do you think I'll get a Felix the Cat? Or do I have to
You
wait for
could.
that?
You could. I mean, the reason why this book is even being printed is right now they're trying to celebrate Popeye's 95th anniversary.
Yeah, but
So,
Felix the Cat is over 100 years old.
oh, well, there you go. Yeah, they probably should. But hey, I guess they don't have an excuse not to make a story since hey, Felix the Cat is in public domain territory at that point. You know, much like Popeye will soon be in another 5 years. So
I
yeah.
am not ready for them to make like some low budget, lame ass Popeye thing, you know?
Mhm.
Like I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of us can agree on that.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of his stories tend to be one shots anyway. So, all right. So here we're talking about I Lie Popeye. So yeah, I like the cover of this that they've been coming out and the artwork. It's so bright and pops in your face. But don't let the bright colors fool you. A lot of serious things have been happening in this past 3 issues, and yeah, I am going to kind of like gloss over a lot of things, talk about the important stuff, right? Because it is 3 issues, you know. So basically, what's happening is you have like this one council of like these godlike beings, right?
What is
They see they have an interest in Popeye. They've been taking notice about like all his feats, his battles, his powers, this and that. So what they're
And they
looking to
find
do,
out he's a Saiyan.
yeah, I know. No, he's even better than the Saiyan. Like, I mean, this story actually goes in depth and ends up explaining a little bit more on what's Popeye's connection with spinach, right? So what they want to end up doing is they want to harness a piece of Popeye so that they can harness some of that power for themselves. But the only thing that's not attached to Popeye anymore is his missing eye. And like, oh wait, I never even realized that. Oh, okay, so that's where he got his name, Popeye. You know?
Oh, okay,
Oh, okay, yeah. See, even Jake didn't notice that too. Like, yeah, I mean, he's a sailor. He is out in sea, so it kind of would make sense.
I don't let's see how Popeye got his name, honestly. While you
Yeah,
talk about the book, I'm gonna look that up.
gotcha. But in the first issue, like, funny enough, like, one of the people from this council tries coming up to Popeye and his crew. You know, he's with Pluto and Olive Oil, and she's just, want to do an interview and ask, like, "Hey, Popeye, how'd you lose your eye?" And everybody's coming in to tell their own version of the story. Like, oh, Popeye lost it in a battle in a conflict that involved Pluto.
Battle of
Or
Five Armies. He loves
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I found out the reason. Um
hmm
so hold on. So
hmm
from this one, I'm gonna like probably look at other sources, but it says um apparently he has like a popped eye, that's why they call him that. Or the
hmm
fact that he was based off of a real man. That's why
Yeah,
he looks like
likely.
that.
Yeah, likely he was based off of a real man, but we don't know the actual story that involved the Popeye's character losing his eye. So
Yeah.
that's what this story seems like it's going to reveal by the end, right? And of course, it turns out that reporter gal turned out to be a spy from the council, and now they're looking to take Popeye himself. And I gotta say, the villains they designed for this, they look
Oh, it
pretty
looks fucking
epic.
dope.
And it's like,
They look dope,
yeah,
bro.
look at this. You know, damn, like you have like a freaking Dragon Ball Z character or something like that
Y'all
here.
gotta
You
hear
know,
me out on this.
yeah.
Hear me out. He's
hmm
hot.
I know. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and powerful too. And I guess what I like about this is it's not just Popeye who's fighting, but it's also his family too. Because like Pluto's in there, like he looks so tough. I'll take care of him. So there's a brief fight between him and this water person and this water guy. Of course, it doesn't end well. And unfortunately, the one orchestrating this, she's a witch. She's called the Sea Hag, right? She's the Sea Hag of the Pacific. She's personally has been keeping an eye on Popeye's history, right? So she knows his deal about spinach. So she concocted a spell that got rid of the spinach around the area, right? So like,
Okay.
oh,
All right.
like oh shoot, you know.
I mean,
So fight.
good. So I get it.
Yeah. Fight commences. Unfortunately, like this Titan guy is a little bit too much for Popeye to handle. I mean, yeah, he's getting beaten. Like these fights are epic. They're not like they still have that cartoony tone to it, but they're treated like a freaking Dragon Ball Z fight here, you know? So like,
So yeah, I'm
dang.
this.
Yeah. So but luckily Popeye ends up revealing he has a tiny can of spinach underneath his hat. But here's the thing: Popeye needs a full volume of canned spinach in order to, unlock his power. He does have like enough for one bite of spinach, but that's only going to be temporary. But it's enough to, beat this guy. I like the move he ended up doing. It was basically like a move you would see Luffy doing, where he's propelling his arm like it's a windmill before he throws it and knocks the guy out, right? So yeah, pretty epic, pretty epic. Uh, a lot of Popeye's moves end up looking like what you would see Luffy do too. So, but regardless, the Sea Hag lost, and the councilman summoned her back and like saying, "Yeah, we're not going to need your services anymore. We're going to have like our other bosses come in. There's just one mysterious figure in the background is on the chair who kind of gives off a Thanos vibe, right? He's like, which one of my Black Orders should I send next? You know? Yeah, pretty epic. That was issue one. And in issue two, of course, Popeye and his crew are kind of recovering from the battle they had. And again, this is also introduced trying to bring in as many of Popeye's extended family as possible, So Popeye's parents come by. Let me bring the picture up. There you go. You have Poop Deck Poppy and Whaler Jones and his wife. Yay! I know, right? Yeah, yeah. Again, this issue kind of explores the origin of Popeye because you see him as an infant. His father was called into war, right? So his father had to leave Popeye at a very young age. And Whaler Jones, he's kind of like explaining the history of how he personally met Popeye. It was because Poop Deck Pappy sent him a letter saying, like, look, turns out I'm going to have to be out here in this war longer than I expected. I need to take care of my son while I'm gone, right? So, oh man, and you see Popeye, he's definitely hurt that he lost his dad, and the only way he could kind of channel his emotions is just with fighting, So you see him as a kid actually being a bully, beating up other kids, and that's when Whaler Jones comes in. Let me just read the line saying, I looked him in the eyes and asked how he thought his puppy would feel if he saw him being a bully when he comes home. And then Popeye just cries, saying, my daddy is coming back, right? Oh,
Baby
man. And from then on,
boy.
I know. And from then on, like, Whaler Jones kind of took Popeye in as his son, So that was real nice. But more to the point, like we do get
this minor character, I don't know if you guys know too much of him. His name is Eugene. He's like a yellow little animal that it was a minor character in Popeye that appeared late into his cartoon show. But he's he travels through dimensions, this and that, and this is where he further explains why this is trying to get Popeye, right? Is that something in Popeye is just not like anybody else. Like, for God's sakes, it's literally just ordinary spinach he's eating, but for some reason his body reacts to it to where he obtains godlike power. Uh, Let me read his exact description. Like, Popeye has let's see, upon digesting spinach, he can create a quantum entangled siphon of infinite energy from countless other source beings, granting him unlimited control over rendering reality across the spectrum. So yeah. Well, look at that. Popeye's a reality warper, audience. You
We
know?
love that. We love that for him, honestly.
Yeah, well deserved. He eats his veggies, audience. So yeah. When we get that explanation, that's unfortunately when the next challenger comes in, and this guy too looks like a boss. Look at that.
Wait, hang on.
Look at that
Oh
picture.
no. Like I love those guys. Those guys sound like really cool.
Yeah. None of these villains are looking cartoony at all. They look like straight out of anime.
Right.
So you have him coming out again. He's a boss. He's like, dude, I've conquered galaxies with my fist alone. If anything, the council oversent someone like me to come after someone like you. So in my galaxy and beyond, I am revered as a destroyer of worlds. Dozens of star systems have been conquered by the might of my fists alone. You are nothing to me. And yeah, luckily Whaler Jones's wife did end up bringing Popeye's lunch, which is spinach, so Popeye was able to eat that. But unfortunately, something about this guy's power had him nullify the effects of the spinach that was in Popeye's system. I guess basically being kryptonite or red sun. So like, god dang. Popeye really is in the fight of his life in this audience.
And he might just lose it. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of serious. Like, this is where the rest of Popeye's extended family have to step up. The Sea Hag ends up giving Olive Oil a wand to help, and she also gives what's his name, Pluto, a shield and brass knuckles. So they try to fight off this Galaxy Destroyer guy. I mean, heck, for God's sakes, like even Whaler Jones and Poop Deck Poppy tried help as they can by throwing an anchor at this guy. But it wasn't until Olive Oil got hit in the eye by this guy and, got knocked out that something happened in Popeye. Something that they never saw before. He went full kind of like Super Saiyan, but he got the power of spinach as if he ate spinach, but he didn't eat spinach. And then he goes on and one-shots this guy. Like, damn. A whole canyon got formed by the punch that Popeye threw at this guy, audience. So, damn. I wish I could show you guys that picture, but yeah, they don't have this comic online. I found it in my comic shop. Good on them.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe
If
one
it gets
day.
popular enough. So audience, you
Yep.
know what you gotta do.
Yep. And even though Popeye was able to beat this guy, unfortunately, two of the other challengers come in who have like telekinetic powers or whatever, right? They restrain Popeye and they're like, "You're coming with us." And of course, that's when Poop Deck Pappy and Whaler Jones come in to fight them off. So it's Popeye's whole family that's helping him through this conflict.
The squad
So-
is here.
Exactly. And this is the point where the Sea Hag, uses her spell to, transport all of them to safety, right? And that's where, she kind of like, wants to tell Popeye, what's up, man? Like, I literally been studying you all this time, And you mean to tell me that you were actually faking it when you were acting like you only needed spinach to activate your power? Yeah, it turns out you could have activated that power anytime you wanted, you know?
Oh, that breaks the lore.
Yeah, but then Popeye is like saying, you know, I honestly don't know how that happened, you know? So, I mean, I just saw Olive Oil getting hurt and I just snapped, you know? So Popeye's not really aware as to how that happened either, you know?
He went Super Saiyan.
Yeah, yeah. He had like the bloodshot green eye and everything. Audience, you know. So there was like sparks of electric energy surrounding him. You know.
I won't let you get away with this.
You bet you about to be scrambled. You know. All right. Cause you're about to be scrambled because you took a gamble, you know. So anyway, regardless, the witch just also tells Popeye, okay, so we actually need you. Another thing that this council is looking for is your missing eye. So hey, I tried giving you a fake eye earlier on in your life, but you didn't accept it. I don't know why. Popeye, gives a speech like saying, hey, look. Let's see, let me just read what he said. Hey, I have long since made peace with losing my eye, and a real sailor wears his scars with pride, you know? So I don't mind having one eye for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
But
Thor.
but Olive Oil, unfortunately, she ended up getting a busted eye from that fight. And luckily, the witch does have like a magic eye that she originally wanted to give to Popeye, but Popeye's like, I don't need that eye. I could do just fine with one eye. So she ends up giving that eye to Olive Oil. Yeah. The only downside is you need to actually lose your eye in order for this eye to be placed in your eye socket.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why the Sea Hag was like, yeah, Popeye, you're already missing an eye socket, so come on, just put this on. So yeah. So no, it ends up working well for Olive Oil, and yeah, unfortunately at this point, like this is when those two twins from earlier with the telekinetic powers pop up. They immediately freeze the Sea Hag, so she won't be doing any teleporting. So yeah, the fight commences, and we do see the introduction of that Burger Man. I'll have one hamburger, please. Something like that, So yeah, that's really how the last issue ends. Ah, it was a pleasant surprise read. I mean, I was at my comic book shop. I like looking at the other comics they have on rack, and the first three issues just really caught my eye because I'm like, yeah, I haven't really read Popeye in a long while, so I might as well check it out, see what's going on, and yeah, it turns out it's pretty great.
Anyways, any comic
is this
book
an
company, if you
ongoing
want to
thing, or
make
is
a
this-
Felix the Cat comic, hit me up. I'm down.
Gotcha.
You said you
Jake?
haven't read Popeye in a long time. You mean like from other comics that he's had, or just like this?
Yeah,
this
he's
universe?
had comic. Yeah, he's had comic strips and well, I guess I haven't had my dose of Popeye in a while.
I was like, I was oh wait, what? There's like an
Yeah,
expanded universe.
yeah, he's had.
Popeye spin. We should watch
Yeah.
some Popeye and Felix the Cat for movie night one day.
That would be cool. I mean, hey Jake, you do realize back in the day when there was a thing called newspapers, right? And they had comics.
I know they had comic strips. I thought you were talking about like I'm going to the comic store and finding a Popeye comic. I was like, oh, they still do.
Yeah, I don't usually see Popeye comics. That's why this really caught my eye. No pun intended, So
there you go.
yeah. And now I have a new logo. So yay, a new intro for the rest of our time.
There you go.
They call me the cryptid, and I go unscripted. So yeah, yeah. So all right, okay, guys, that's really it. So with that, let's move on. Do-do-do.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we read the book. Let's see how the movie compares. This is Bionicle 3, Web of Shadows, the third movie and last movie, unfortunately, made by Miramax. Me and a lot of Bionicle fans are very disappointed about this because literally the next arc over did like a promo for it for the Toa Ignica, and it was so cinematic. People were expecting another Bionicle movie for it, and we just never got it. It was like, fuck. But anyway, how does this movie compare? Bionicle 3 Web of Shadows, to me, to this day, is still the best of the original three Bionicle movies. Like Bionicle 2, this is a prequel to a Bionicle 1, taking place right before the ending scene of Bionicle 1. The Toa Metru have left Metro Nui, escaped Metro Nui after a great earthquake caused by the Makuta pretty much leveled it. They managed to save a handful of Matoran, but now they're on their way back to save the rest of the missing thousands that they have. The only problem is the city has been overrun by the Visorak and two villains that we've just already got over, Sidorak and Rudaka. I got this picture. I just like this frame. This is like a really good frame. So I just feel like it. But yeah, so I mean, like this story we've already gone over before for the past like month or so. In terms of the movie really, like the second one, it really simplifies and shrinks down the story to be more digestible. You do not need to read or a single piece of Bionicle content to understand what's happening in this film. The only thing you need to do is probably watch the second one, and then you could go from 2 to 3 and then watch 1 at the end. That's really the correct order. And you should be fine. And I think that works to this movie's benefit. Well, you do miss out on a lot of things, like the character like there were some character dynamics that are exclusives to the book. Some like battles, like you don't get the kaiju battle from the book as well. That gets cut out as well. The whole labyrinth, the Karzani arc that's on the book, it literally is just like the Toa Land on Metro Nui. We skip a whole bunch of buildup, and then we just get the Toa Hordika, skip a bunch of buildup there, and then we just go to the final battle. They cut out like 2/3 of the book just for the movie. But that said, it's more than made up for by stellar voice cast, and oh my god, the art direction of this movie. I took like pictures of this. I rewatched this movie. I noticed a lot of details that I didn't before. I forgot to upload one, but I love like the set design for Metro Nui. How in the first movie it looked so like peaceful, like this was a utopian city, and now it looks like something straight out of a horror movie. And the movie really leans into that. Whenever it's like nighttime scenes, it's a really dark and moody atmosphere. And it's really like, and the music also, by God, the music of this movie is like so fucking great. The music is also used to great effect as well. I've noticed rewatching this, there's not a lot of times where the music plays, unless if it's absolutely needed. And the reason I bring this up is because in a lot of kids' movies, I mean, take Dragon Ball Z, for instance. I love Z's soundtrack. Z's soundtrack is one of the best anime soundtracks of all time. But because it was made for kids, with kids in mind, there was a mandate in that dub to not go a single second without music or any like soundtrack playing at all. Mainly to keep the kids engaged. And but in this movie, which is also made for kids, that's not the case. There'll be a lot of moments where I notice like there's no music playing. They let the atmosphere, the characters breathe, the characters act. By the way, stellar voice work all around. But the characters act and they convey their emotions in a very fun way. Also to this movie, this is also a rivalry that I mean is in the books, but it feels like it's better handled in the movies. We get Mattel versus Vakama's rivalry. As a kid, Mattel was also, ironically, even though Vakama's my favorite Toa, Mattel, because of the movies, was my second favorite Toa, mainly because he's funny. And in the books, he's funny, but in this movie, they go all out. There's like one scene where Mattel is like, where everyone's like telling Mattel to like, calm down because he's being impatient. I guess to give context, when they turn into Toa Hordika, Mattel takes it the hardest because since the first movie and the first book, Mattel loves being a Toa. Like he's the one who's like, yeah, let's just be Toa heroes, and everybody else is like, yeah, I don't know. So when he gets turned into this ugly version of a Toa, he's like, oh my god, I'm hideous. Like this is like in the whole movie. And I like there's a moment where like he's just getting restless because he's trying to wait for like they're waiting for an answer to like where Kitangu is, and Nakamo's like, oh man, just take it easy, Mattel. And Mattel's like, take it easy. I have no patience for something like this. And he like just like explodes at him. It's so funny. There's even like a moment too where he's like, how are we supposed to save them when we're some kind of monster? And he starts making monster noises and just like throwing his body around. It's very like I love him in this movie. He's just funny. Funny as well. But yeah, I do like the tension between him and Vakama and how it's only him and Vakama. So when they do fight at the end, it resonates more. Since the first movie, Mata's kind of been taking small jabs at Vakama, and in this movie it kind of explodes into Vakama, like Mata being really upset with Vakama. And in this movie as well, another thing we simplify is Vakama's arc is simply just that like he doesn't want to lead, but he's the best leader on the team. And he made one mistake, and it cost basically maybe the entire mission. And the team is giving him nothing but shit. And he under that weight, he kind of snaps, and he wants to, and he just kind of runs away from the responsibility. And this naturally leads him into Radaka's clutches, and Radaka twists him into being evil because she's saying like, listen, the problem isn't you. It's that your team sucks. Like,
wow.
Now, if you had a team that was just loyal to you, you would do so much more.
It doesn't take much to sprinkle a little sugar over that quote, So
and that's Vakama's thing, where he's like, Vakama gets kind of like, he's like, well, I trust my team, and Radaka's like, no, you trust them to do what? Hold you back? You need people who are just absolutely loyal, no question, like my team. So Vakama's like, yeah. So I do like in this too. So like in the book, there's a lot of like hesitancy for Vakama. I'm not to say that not to say the book doesn't go into painstaking detail to show that he's turning evil even before he gets to Radaka. But in the movie, he's like, oh my god, by the time he gets to the final fight, he is a rabid dog. Okay? There's a scene where like he's fighting Matau, and I like the choreography of this moment. Matau, they're climbing up a tower, and Matau's trying to chase after Vakama. Matau is struggling to climb. Vakama's climbing like he's been doing it for years. Because he's just like kind of going down. And there's a moment where Matau is like looking for Vakama because he's caught up to him and he's looking for him. And like I saved the shot. It was fucking crazy. You see Vakama crawling around like a fucking spider?
Oh, fun spiders! Raise your hand if you like spiders.
Yeah, so and like Vakama just fucking lost it, and he's like growling and roaring at Matau. Like they're having like this really like brutal conflict. I'm trying to get a better like resolution for the shot, but like you can see like Matau, and what's like too, like Matau's fighting Vakama like a Toa. Vakama's fighting Matau like a beast. Matau just like, and you see Matau just not prepared for the ass whooping Vakama gives him in this movie. I really do like it. But yeah, that was something I really like. There's also a horror movie moment. Well, there's a couple, but there's like a horror movie moment in this that was in the book, but the movie does it so much better. It's with like Vakama just being kind of like very evil. Like it's like Norik is with his group, like the Rahaga Norik is with his group, and and they get separated because Gaki's like, oh yeah, okay, Norik, if you want to stay here, that's fine. I'm gonna go upstairs and meet with my brothers. And then you just hear this pitter pattering in the background. Like Norik's by himself. It's like dark and moody. And Norik's like, who's there? And then you hear a voice that's like, I got some bad news. Gaki is not gonna make it up the stairs. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, and it was such a great delivery. Like Vakama's actor does so good in this role. But yeah, like I think like, even though this is a lot simpler of a plot, I think the message comes through that Vakama's lesson is that he needs to just accept the fact that this is his duty and he has to carry that weight. But at the same time, like the Tower kind of learned, like being a leader is hard, and like it doesn't hurt to give like your leader some leeway when he makes mistakes. and also to show that you really appreciate that he's there, like appreciate the people in your lives. That's also the message there too. I think as a kid, this really resonated with me as well because I was also going through something similar at the time. So I was like, So I think this is why Bakama stuck out to me as like one of my favorite characters. He just was very relatable to me. Like his insecurity, but needing to step up and do something was like something I relate to as a kid. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed rewatching this movie. I know I probably watched this a lot because I was actually just quoting with the movie. So like I was like, there were like certain lines I just started saying with the movie because I just knew it.
You reached that level of fandom, man, is what I hear, you know?
Yeah, so but like I do think there are some problems as well, and it wouldn't be fair if I didn't bring them up. I think for all the movie's strengths, something that the book does better that the movie doesn't is that only Vakama is really the only. So like the point of the Toa Hordika is that you're part beast, part Toa, and so the longer that they are Hordika, the more susceptible they are to just being more beast than Toa. But in the movie, only Vakama seems to be affected. Now, as a kid, I rationalize that as because Vakama's the one who's isolating himself, while the others are together. So that maybe helps them better than Vakama, who's just kind of off on his own. But after reading the book, I agree that in the book, I like it better that the Toa Hordika as a whole are struggling with this. It's just that because Vakama is already dealing with his own problems and he's isolating himself, it makes his that much worse. In the movie, you will not tell the like Nokama before she's a Toa Hordika is the same as when she is in the movie. Same with Mattel, same with the others. In the book, though, there was even a moment like the Toa Hordika, the rest of the team is getting mutated so badly. There was a moment in the book where Mattel started making his own nest as if he was like a fucking like a fucking bear or something. You know what I mean? Like this is like so I do like that in the book more. I do think I really wish they added a little bit more from the book. Like I would like to see Vakama try to be a leader a bit more before the change. Because that way you get to see the Toa doubt him even more, leading to his like defection. Not to say there's not enough for him to really just turn evil based off what we get from the second and third movie, but it does. It feels like there could have been a little bit more just for this movie by itself. And while I do love the work with Sidorak and Rudaka, I do like in the book we get more about why Sidorak is so hell-bent on getting this marriage thing. And another thing I kind of wish was in the movie as well, and this is always a problem with me as a kid too. The Rahaga, like the old guys who mentor the Toa in this arc, they don't really get anything to do. Norik is kind of the only person that matters, and in the book, they went so far as to say, like, give even a Rooney like a revenge story. So it kind of sucks that in the movie we didn't even get a little bit of like how they became Rahaga, especially because Rudaka there's even the line from the book in the movie where Rudaka's like, "Oh, the Rahaga," like as if like she knew them from something like long ago, but I don't know. But yeah, so. It's a good movie. I think with Bionicle. So if I have to go through an order, like I think Bionicle 1 is the weakest because I feel like that's a movie I would put on for a kid. Bionicle 2 is a good origin film, but it just kind of I don't like the pacing of it. Bionicle 3 though, I would put that on for anybody. I think it's a movie that's enjoyable for like fans of animation because oh my god, the animation in this movie is great. Like the details on the models is fucking great. The voice work is great. The story is solid. It's a simple 1 hour 31-minute movie. And I think it works for adults and kids alike. It's like a movie for everybody. So I would recommend this one. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything. But it is a fun time, and it really does immerse you into the world of Bionicle, which I think Miramax does really well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give this movie. I want to say 8. Like I so badly want to say 8. But part of me says 7. I'll split it in the middle and say I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Only because I feel like if I wasn't a Bionicle fan, it wouldn't interest me as much. Like if I was an adult and not a Bionicle fan, it wouldn't interest me as much as it interests me now that I am one. But I do think this movie is good at getting you to care more about Bionicle than the other movies are. So I will give it a 7.5 out of 10, I think. But yeah, really enjoyable read. So a really enjoyable watch. And great soundtrack, great way to end the Miramax trilogy. So
Mhm.
Next time we come back later tonight, we will be ending the Web of Shadows saga and the Metro Nui saga as a whole. So yeah, really excited. We'll be seeing what happened. Again, let me say what happened right before Makama went to Matsunui, but
Okay.
after they
Okay.
left. So you know.
All right.
But I'm really excited for this one. And Cryptid, if you're a fan of
Oh.
just pure villains, like no emotional backstory required, I think
We
you're gonna
need
love
more
this.
of them. We need
You're
more of
gonna
them.
get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Have
you know,
villains be villains. So, alrighty then. Sounds good. Can't wait to see how this all ends. So,
yeah.
alright then, audience. I guess with that, we can move on to the next one. Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. So next one we're talking about is Rogue Savage Lands Volume 1. Oh, sorry, not Volume 1, Issue 1.
You
So,
can't tell me that cover, bro. Look, it's not even just Rogue. It's Magneto too. It's
I'm
Magneto.
over the Rogue Magneto thing. I'm sorry, but it's true.
It's
okay, look,
Magneto.
yeah, to bring out the elephant in the room, they're not going to be delving too much into like, Rogue and Magneto's ship. This is going to be more of like a side adventure story with Rogue. Yeah, Magneto's in it, but he's just going to probably like be an assistant hand to her journey in this. You
Yeah,
know?
but you know what they were doing with that cover. I'm just with Magneto. He's
Well,
just,
I mean, hey, if you think Magneto looks like a piece right here, you should see the cover for the next issue because it's going to have Kazar in it. And just to point this out, Kazar is just wearing a loincloth. So, he's wearing less than Rogue, if you want to bring that up. So,
yeah.
all right. All right. So, this issue, um, one thing I gotta say is I do want to give this book credit because it does feel like a period piece comic. Like it feels like something a story that would have been told if around that time period, where Rogue was in the Savage Lands and she didn't have her power. Yeah, I wish I could have brought up the actual comic book cover because it feels like an actual comic book cover from that time. You have like the faces of Magneto, Kazar, and Rogue on the top left-hand corner, and even in the bottom right-hand corner, you see like a square image of Nick Fury, like the original Nick Fury too. And heck, like there was even like a little word balloon from Rogue in the cover saying, "Oh sugar, do I have a story to tell you?" Now that's a little bit authentic because nowadays you rarely see word balloons on comic book covers. You ever stop and think about that?
No, actually, but no, that is true. Not
Yeah,
on comic book. I think I did see one recently, but you're right. It's not like normal.
yeah, yeah. We had this discussion in my comic book shop once, like where one of the staff members thinks that maybe because like Marvel's so bent on like variant cover selling that I guess like they don't want anything from that cover to be like covered over with a word balloon. you know
Yeah, I can
so
see that.
yeah,
I can see that.
yep. So yeah,
But I think
this
there's something to
issue.
be said about the ones like the ones with dialogue, like "Oh my God, it's the lizard," and
Yeah, you
I just
want to keep. Yeah, you want to keep a word counts. I mean, oh yeah, now that I think about it, the last time I saw a variant cover of a word balloon that made that was really appropriate for that was that Amazing Spider-Man issue. Where you had Black Cat posing, and then Mary Jane in her jackpot outfit is in the background saying, "Hey, hey, what are you doing, Black Cat? The people can't see me." And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like, yeah, nobody likes a jackpot costume. Come on, let's all be real. So,
they
all
can try
right.
to fix it. But,
Yeah, I gotcha. So going back to this issue again, it feels authentic, like from that time period, much like how X-Men '97 felt like this is a season we probably would have gotten had it been debuting in the '90s. Like literally, the opening of this comic is saying previously on Uncanny X-Men number 247. So like,
previously, on
okay,
X-Men.
cool, cool. But anyway, the first couple issues of Rogues like, trying to adjust to surviving in the Savage Lands, right? Just trying to be a survivalist, you know,
telling about the rules of survival, like how, hey, everything around you will be as hungry as you are, you know? So this and that. And I did like this one scene where right now she's in a campsite, she's by herself, she's alone, and she talks about how, like, most of the time in her life her powers are cursed because of her touching people and a bit of their essence going into her. But in times like this, it actually helps her out because she kind of has like their personas in her head, so it's like she has conversations going on, at a time where she's at her loneliest. Like,
Right.
okay, that's a little nice touch there. But this is where we get to like
That
the
sounds like
villains of the.
schizophrenia. Not gonna lie.
Schizophrenia helps.
Well, in this situation, it would help, because
I
again, she's
guess,
alone.
but like,
Yeah, it's like she has like she's talking stories out with like Captain America here, or Gambit, or who else, Nightcrawler, this and that. It's like they're there with her at that point, you know. So all right. We get to the villains. These villains, they're like straight out of the Creature of the Black Lagoon audience. Damn, I wish I had a picture to bring that up, but they look just more savagey. You know. So yeah, yeah. While this is going down, uh, you know, eventually Rogue does encounter Magneto, and they do end up encountering a Kazar's saber-toothed tiger, So apparently these fish creatures had kidnapped Kazar, and Rogue is now going to go on a quest to go save him. And yeah, Magneto may be tagging along a bit. But yeah, this story is going to culminate around Kazar, being abducted by these uh, Creature of the Black Lagoon sort of people, because apparently they left something in the Savage Lands. Because remember, for a time, everything in the world was underwater. So yeah, their people had a temple in this land, and now they're looking to get whatever was in that temple. So yeah, uh, good issue. Yeah, again, I like the authenticity of Tim Seeley wanting to make sure this does feel like it was from that time period. Too
Yeah.
many times I see like people trying to say, okay, that show or story you like from the 80s or 90s, all right, we're gonna do that. We're going to continue off that story and make it feel like it was, this is a story you would have gone from that time, even though you're putting modern day influences on that story,
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
It doesn't make it feel right. That's why.
yeah,
That's why I'm hesitant about when they revive old shows. And as much as I have my problems with X Men '97, I do appreciate that it did feel like it was like in that time period when it was written.
yeah. That's a rarity. I mean, like
Yeah.
the most extreme example I could really give is that when Kevin Smith did the first season of He-Man, like that was a really bad example
I
of
mean,
him.
I liked the first season of He-Man. I just didn't get around to watching the second season.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people had that same sentiment, which even though, like,
It
damn
was
it, what
called It was called Masters of the Universe. It wasn't called just
No,
He-Man.
I mean, no.
but
It was the fact
still,
that he says what he's talking about is the fact that the guy says it's supposed to feel like the original show, but it's not.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
he's referring to. That's what
Oh, okay. But like, to anyone who
Char-
didn't know,
yeah, characters were not written in character. Like modern day influences had to be put into that quote unquote revival, this and that, and yeah, that really tainted a lot of people's viewing of the show, which is what makes like a situation like X-Men '97 feel more appreciated, because again, it did feel like the season 5 we never got. So yeah, yeah. It's a mini series audience. Go and see where this goes. Going to be picking up the next 5 issues. So yeah, and of course, White Nick Fury Senior's on the bottom right hand corner. If you want more authenticity of that. So there you go. All right, all right. With that, I guess we can move on to the next one. Oh, sorry. Row one.
Yeah, it's my turn, Cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm talking about The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue 15. This is the finale of the second arc. So, you know what that means. You guys, do you know what that means?
Ooh, what's that mean?
Is that we're going to get another trade paperbacks that I could get it signed by everyone.
There you go, buddy.
So, yeah. Okay, so we start off from the not the last issue, but the issue previous, because if you guys forgot, the last issue was a spotlight issue for a newer character named Clement, who I love. And the day that I paint myself purple is the day that I will cosplay him. Just letting you know.
Nice.
Anyways, so we see the Monster Squad, some of the Monster Squad, the boys specifically. They're running from Clement's portrait. I'm just gonna go down the pictures and then I'm gonna read the text. Is that okay?
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next panel, we see Adam taking Hayden's mother in his arms to like bury her or something like that. Then the next
wait.
panel, we see Hellwing and Christopher's mother talking in her home. You know, starting to talk.
Which did you want me to go into the next picture?
No. I'll let you know.
Okay, got it.
Don't worry, I will let you know.
Got it.
The next picture is Viv. Well, it's the girlies, you know. Sasha, I think that's what her name is. I can never remember names until like way later, so you're gonna have to give me a bit. Okay, I don't even remember the brother's name. So we see the guys running out of the little cave thing that they were in. So basically, the narration is just Christopher talking about like, oh, what are you most afraid of, stuff like that. You know, like reasonable stuff to be afraid of, and then it ends off with but the question remains, what am I most afraid of? So we cut over to the guys, you know, with Christopher running off, Yordi and the brother, the vampire brother. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name all the time. I think it's Luca. I think his name is Luca, but for right now, not 100% sure. Do not quote me until I remember, okay? So yeah, we see the other two like stay behind. And so the brother is like, yo, like, did you know all of that with like that Clement kid with all the monsters? And Yordi is like, I mean, some of it, but nothing so firsthand before. And Yordi is like, ah, shit, it's sunrise. Like, I'm gonna fry, so I have to get home. And so Luca, I'm assuming, I can't remember his name, so we're calling him Luca until I remember his name, okay? So he's like, better run, Dracula dude. Like, I'll hold back. My sister's still down there. And Yordi's like, so is Viv. Just tell her I'm sorry and then she'll understand, because you know he's a vampire. He's gonna get hurt by the sun.
Yeah, of course.
Keep in mind, not all vampires are hurt by the sun. That was a Nosferatu thing. Fun fact, if anyone cares.
I would like to have one vampire say, yeah, that's just a myth. Not all of us have that same reaction to the sun, you know?
There are.
And it's kind of racist
There
that
are.
you think that.
Yeah.
See, there are vampires that are completely immune to the sun. There are vampires who get weakened by the sun but aren't like fully hurt, you know? And then there are vampires who are hurt by the sun. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly, you know?
Anyways, so we cut over to Christopher's mom's house, you know, and we see a picture of Christopher and his mom making making a sand city. Okay, specifically a sand city. And you know, Christopher's mom is all down for like making coffee, so she makes the coffee for her guests and all that other stuff. And Hellwing is like, sugar please, like my gratitude, Miss Chaos. And she specifies like, oh, Miss Smith, actually Chaos is my son's name. It came with him like a designer tag. Honestly, slay. We love that for him. Like, if you forgot, Christopher is adopted. He is not biologically her child. So letting you know if you forgot.
Yeah.
So so he's like, of course, like, do you know who I am? And she's like, duh, like, we know who you are, Mr. Hellwing. Like, I know who you are, okay? Like, you own one of the largest technological and pharmaceutical companies. Like, yes. And he's like, as I declaimed earlier, at your threshold, I'm here to discuss. And she kind of cuts him off and be like, yes. And she's like, my son was 6 when he built this city out of sand. Like, I thought it was impressive at the time. You know, who And she was like, who would have thought that it was going to be an exact miniature of New Briar City? Oddly enough, Christopher at the same time scarcely stepped foot outside our neighborhood. Like, how could he have known? Like, is this about a scholarship? And he's like, no. She was like, I didn't think so. It's like, when you arrive at my door sunrise saying you need to talk to your son, like, it's a bit touchy. Like, I require discretion for you to know who I am. And what I am, Miss Smith, is a concerned parent, fearful for your son's life. My ass. Anyways, can you cut to the next picture, please? My husband! Husband! The love of my life. Like I said before the live started, nothing this man can say or do can make me change my opinion on him. Okay? I need to preface that now. And I mean it. I mean everything I say about this man. I love him so much. My cosplay will not do him justice, but I'm just saying I love him. Anyways,
Okay.
so we see him bury Hayden's mother. I forgot her name too, but I'll look back at it later. We see him bury her. He goes back to his home, stitches himself up because if you remember, he got hurt pretty badly. You know, he was covered not only in other people's blood, but his own blood, which is blue, because you know he's made out of dead people parts. Like, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and so he uses the Hellwing cloak and mask thing. He goes back up. He burns the stuff, and so he looks up, and he's like, Margaret, Peggy, the pigeon, by the way, because he doesn't call her Peggy. He calls her Margaret because you know he's old school like that. And he's like, where is he? You know, after she coos, you know, because she's a pigeon, obviously. As you can see, she's a pigeon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we cut over to Christopher in the park playing chess against an old man. And we see Adam pull up and he's like, I didn't know you played. And I'm just saying, you don't see I didn't send the panel, but the panel where Adam pulls up next to Christopher and where he's just like standing really standing tall, you know, with like the lower shot. Oh my god. As you can tell, I'm a major simp for this man. Okay, let's continue. So he's like, I didn't know you played. And Christopher's like, I went 5 minutes ago. You were taking too long. Honestly, Slade would love that. So Christopher kind of kicks out the old man who was playing with him, which is like, come on, man. Like, damn. And so him and Adam start playing chess. And Adam is like, I know not what you believe you saw down there, like in the Monster Underground, and Christopher cuts him off. And he's like, okay, I saw a monster alongside the ones who hunt us. I trusted you saw it too. I saw the story of a witch boy named Clement, who was simply trying to live. Like, you were in that story too. I know what I believe. So tell me the truth, Adam Frankenstein. All of it now. And I'm just like, damn. And I wanted to send this specific panel from the next page. But I was audience, if you didn't know, I was out doing some shopping because you know I need to work on cosplay stuff. And so I was like walking with like a bag, like with a bag in my hand with a broken handle and food in the other hand. So, you know, I was doing what I can, okay? But I can describe this. So we hear loud banging and we see this one couple wake up and we hear, Mom, Dad, like I forgot my keys, hurry. So they're like, Yordi? And so they open the door and we see Yordi burst through just like smoking. And they're like, oh my God. It's like, what happened? You know, this is like what I can gather from the translated text. Is he Afro-Latino? I think I just noticed that. Huh.
What's
Good
his
to know.
name? What's his
Yordi?
name again?
Yordi, it's Jordi.
Okay, Hordy. Okay.
Yeah, you could do your own research. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. And so we see Yordi laying on the ground, just like smoke coming off of him burnt, you know, and he's like, I have something to tell you. You could probably guess what he wants to tell his parents, you know, like it was bound to happen anyways. You know, he kept it a secret for this long. I'm proud of him, but like, damn.
Listen,
So
I'm gay. I just have to tell you.
he's like, oh, Mom, Dad, I'm trans, and they're gonna be like, yeah, I know that, but why are you burnt? Like, oh yeah, I'm a
that's like
vampire
a whole
too.
different thing.
He's like, oh yeah, this merely a flesh wound. If you get the reference, you're cool. Anyways, so we cut over to the Christopher household, like the Chaos household, Chaos Smith household. Yes. So we see Robo Christopher. He's walking down, clink, clink, clink. You know, you get the idea. And we see him like look at a picture of his mom, and he's like, "Mommy, I love you." And then he passes by a door, and he's like, "Door, freedom," and he like opens it, you know. And so we cut over back to Hellwing and Christopher's mom, and he's like, "Oh, that noise, was that him?" And she like kind of bangs down her teacup, you know, when you like, I don't know, you know, like when you like forcefully put down your cup, you know, and you hear like the sound, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Please, okay, please say yes, thank you. So, Hellwing puts up, like, you know, and she's like you said, you were concerned for my son's life, yet you failed to mention how you even know who he is. And so he's like, yes, of course. And so he clicks this little thing that's on his temple, and shows a holographic picture of his son Elias, also known as Crimson. Just remember, because I always forget his name. So you know, Crimson. And so he's like, this is my only quote unquote photograph I have of my son, taken when he was only a few weeks old. His name's Elias. He's a monster, and not in a figurative sense, mind you. It's like, you know, stuff. And so we just see him crying or whatever, because you know he's a demon and he's a baby. Like, babies cry. Okay, if you didn't know that babies cry, then I don't know what to tell you.
Baby. Seems like a wuss to me.
I know. Like, why are you crying? Like, Jesus. Okay, Queen never cry. Okay, remember the meme. Remember the iconic quote from that one manhwa that I did not read.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, he's just saying Bible stuff that I don't really care about. And so he's like, Christopher's mom is like, are you saying you conceived the Antichrist? And he's like, heavens no, but close. I was like, did you conceive the Antichrist? That's kind of concerning if you did. Like, I have questions, sir. So he's like, every day my son atones for his very nature, and I've spent my life in search of his cure for him and every child like him. My father transformed the city. Yes, but I will transform the world. I'm like, that's not, it's like something a Nazi would say. I don't. That's just me personally. You know, like, where's GI Robot when you need him? You know, where is my favorite Nazi killing band?
Like, are you Creature Commandos?
You know, I still have not seen Creature Commandos. I just know what I know.
It's so funny, you know. The
So
only beautiful landscape I see is a landscape filled with the corpses of dead Nazis.
I mean, in this day and age, I would love to see that personally. But anyways, getting back to the book, because I have a lot to talk about and not enough time. So he's like, I know what it's like to raise a child with challenges, Annie. And I know your pain and anxieties. It has been on the tip of your tongue since Christopher was an infant. Yes, your son is a monster. It's like, okay, and he's just trying to live his life. He's autistic. Jesus. Okay, you can't just go around calling children monsters, okay? Who knows? He might just be autistic, okay? Jeez. You can't, okay, guys, take this, if you take anything from this. Just because a child is a little bit weird doesn't mean they're a monster, okay? They could just be autistic. Okay? You got that, Cryptid? You got that, Jake?
Yeah.
You got that, Austin, who's not even here? Okay, got it. So, Hellwing holds up this little box, and he's like now, what will you do to save him? So we cut over back to the park, you know? And so Christopher's like, no more secrets. You once said that I was the key to everything. So now I need to know what the hell you're talking about. And so Adam is like, you want the truth? And he's like, cold, uncorrupted fact. And so here's where we start, besties. So he's like, my name is Adam Frankenstein. I'm 225 years old, which he's in my age range, right? He's around my age range. So, you know, I could probably hit that. I need to stop. And calm down. Okay. So he's like, through the years and the lives that I've been forged from, you know, for a while, like, I've been around. He's like, I spent my earliest years lost in wasted ambition and despair until I found purpose in forging Monster Society across many years with many lives. I still think that he's in my age range, guys. He's like, only for it to go up in flames. And Christopher's like, I've heard that all before, the Monster Underground. And Adam's like, yes, I'm getting to it. Jesus. And so he's like, in my 17th year, I and fellow monsters, alongside human allies, came together and assembled a group of individuals who wanted to progress monster rights, cure for our oppression. We called ourselves the Horrorist Society. And so Christopher's like, Monster Club. Yes, actually. And so Adam shows off his his little brooch thing, which I'm gonna have to figure out how to make. I'll probably just figure out how to make it with hot glue, honestly, you know? Creativity breeds innovation. So he's like, each member had their role and sigil. This was mine. I was the engine and its spark. Like we had laws, traditions, we had magic and science. And so the Horror Society began its operations. And like within the secret bowels of one of our country's most prestigious colleges. I could not tell you what college that is right now. He's like, Miss, what the fuck does that even say? Hold on, give me a second. Miskatonic University. Miskatonic University? Yes, that's what I read. And Christopher's like, as in, and Adam's like, yes, the very one described within the celebrated work of Howard Phillips Lovecraft. And Christopher's like, did you know him, Lovecraft? And Adam's like, yes. And if I was to add on to that, I would have been like, yes, he was really racist. Like so racist that he named his cat after a slur. If you don't know what H.P. Lovecraft's cat's name is, Google is free, bestie. The man was so racist that other racist people were like, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Now you know. So, Adam's like, the school afforded us investment, influence, research, but there were some monsters who did not trust the humans with our secret knowledge. We were not simply handing them the keys to our extermination, you know? And Christopher's like, he lifts up his goggles and he's like, but how can we better understand what we are without research and experiments? How can we further our goals without knowledge? And Adam is like, tell that to the people who have been hunted and tormented and pulled apart since the dawn of civilization. Like, our traumas carry on, Christopher, from one life to the next. And Christopher's like, I wanted the truth about me. What does this have to do about me? And Adam's like, this is your history as much as mine. And also, I'm fucking getting there. He doesn't say that, but you get what I mean. Adam is not the kind of guy who curses, just letting you know. He would probably say some poetic version of a curse. I don't know. Audience, if what kind of Victorian curses do you think that he would be saying? Put them in the comment section below. I'm curious. Anyways, he's like, okay, the research at the university unveiled facts about monster kind that were long suspected but never proven. The mad scientists discover what separated us from humans, an energy source that made us what we are, and it's called Aether. And Peggy's like, what? Like, who? Huh? Peggy, that's what you always say, girly pop. Anyways, so Christopher's like, what's that? And he's like, well, no one knows exactly, but it appears to be like primordial chaos energy may spark life itself. The missing piece to the Big Bang equation, you know? And so like Peggy does Peggy stuff on the board. And he keeps talking about like monsters have like disproportionate amount of it compared to humans. And the experiment seems to suggest like everyone has their own amount and everything. Like I suspect that Aether brought me to life and Peggy too. Honestly, wow, that's the first time that he has ever called this bird Peggy. I just realized that he always called her Margaret. Oh my god!
Wow.
I learned new things on my third read.
There you go. Third time's a try.
Yeah, for real. And so he's like, then for the first time, not long ago, a monster was born who contained more Aether than anyone before him, a being of pure chaos. And Christopher's like, he pauses for a moment and he's like, Me. And we were like, yes, girly pop, you. My favorite little blue hair pronouns boy, little gay boy. I want to. If I ever cosplay Christopher, I'm gonna make that into a badge ribbon. I'm just gonna be 100% real with you. That's too funny. That joke is right there in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I got kicked off my world when out in my game. Anyways, I'll go back to it later. So we cut back over to the Chaos household, and so the little box from earlier was open and was like a pill. What is that? And so Hellwing is like, oh, it's an experimental drug, it helps to cure monstrosities for a mere few hours. Like, no more pain, only peace at long last. And so she's like, I think it's time you left, Mr. Hellwing. And he's like, he needn't even know you slipped it in, like, don't worry, it'll be fine. And she's like, you keep comparing our sons, Mr. Hellwing. You keep comparing us. But I actually love my son, and I would do anything to take away his pain. But this, get the fuck out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, slay. Pop off, queen. We love that for you. So, Hellwing taps his temple, and he's like, Cardinal, this isn't good. And so Elias is like, mission failure. Like, forgive me, Father, I've sinned. And it's like, bro, you're fine. You killed him. You killed the vampire king god person in the Halloween special, okay? You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, I trust I don't need to show you to the door. And he's like, my number is on the box, Miss Smith. Have a good day. And he leaves while she's looking at the picture and also like the little box. It's fine. And so Christopher's like, okay, why did you keep all of this from me? And Adam's like, there are forces who want to use you, Christopher, as a pawn in this undying war, who believe that you may be the missing piece to all of this. Like, I was tasked with never allowing that to come to pass. Like, I wanted to keep you away from all of this, which is like, that's kind of like dad energy if you really think about it. Adam Frankenstein, dad of the Monster Club.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I've watched you from the shadows your entire life, which finally that kind of explains that one bit in the first issue where he's holding Christopher as a baby in his hands. Like, I mean in his hands, not in his arms, in his hands, because that's how big he is. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. So Adam's like, because you're just a boy, Christopher, you deserve a normal, happy life. And Christopher's like, but I'm not just a boy, and my life has never been normal and happy. It's like, do you know what I believe? Like, I believe you're afraid of me, of other monsters, of all your pain, of what might actually happen if we won. But us monsters don't get the luxury of irrational fear, Adam. Like, we die in the shadow like secrets. We die in the light of our knowledge. We die at the graves of our loved ones. Die, 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 die. But I know what I am now. Okay? I know that the world where monsters are safe to live is impossible. A world where we are not afraid is possible. We just need someone brave enough to build it, and that person isn't you. And I was like, damn, Christopher, you're like 16. You shouldn't be spewing the facts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I still love Adam. I can't wait to see more of him in the future, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by the way, so he leaves and he's like, oh yeah, checkmate. So I think Adam's definitely going to get some character growth later. I just want to learn more about Adam, okay? Like, he's such a mysterious character that I need to, like, know more about him so that I can love him even more. I'm just saying, I love almost everyone in this cast, okay? Just letting you know. It's just one I love a little bit more than everyone else, okay?
Yeah. All right. We still
Anyways.
got one more book to talk about after this. So.
Oh yeah,
right.
no, I'm almost done. Don't worry. I
Okay,
have like
okay.
a couple more pages. I'll make it quick. So we see the girlies finally get out of the monster underground, and Viv is like, I swear to God, I'm never talking to you again. And Sasha's like, fucking good. And so Luca is like, oh, it took you guys long enough. And the twins start to leave, and Viv is like, hey, where are my friends? And so Luca's like, oh yeah, they said sorry. And so Viv is just standing there alone, and it ends up, this page is like, what are you most afraid of? Is it spiders? Is it being alone? And and he keeps talking about like the fears and such like that. And so Christopher's mom pulls up to his room, and she's like, "Christopher, you're up early." And the robot is like, "Oh, you can go to the last picture, by the way. I forgot, like, not, yeah, the last picture.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you to change the picture from the last one. My bad." Audience, if you didn't know what picture, it was the one where Christopher's mom was telling Hellwing to get out of her house. Okay, that was it. So basically, we see the robot saying like, "Yes, mom, I'm downloading the internet," and she's like, "Okay, sweetie, do whatever makes you happy." And she's just standing there being like, "Yes, Christopher, you were such a happy boy. There's something somewhere along the line you stopped smiling in photographs. All I want is for you to smile again." And we see Christopher under the bed. He's like holding his mouth, and he's just crying. And he said, "I'm most afraid of the monster under the bed." And that's where the issue ends. The second arc ends, and we do get the chance to do a letters page, so I'm excited for that. So I'm excited for the next issue. I don't know when it comes out, but I'll tell you when. Okay, I'll let you guys know when the next issue comes out. But that's where the second thing ends. Yay! Sorry for taking so goddamn long. There's a lot of meat in this issue.
Nah, problem, man. Glad you got the chance to express the fandom of this comic.
I love Adam. Like I said, nothing you can say or do can make me change my mind about him. Okay, nothing. Absolutely zero, zilch. I love him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's in my age range, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I guess we'll get on to the last one.
Last one. All right.
I'll try to squeeze as much as I can.
Okay. Hold
Yeah.
sec.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, sorry. We always have to battle for this. Okay, go ahead.
You can't beat me.
Yeah.
I custom made this poster because I just couldn't find one that would capture this one. But this is called Bionicle Time Trap. It's pretty much the ending of the Metro Nui saga as a whole. And as the name implies, we will be dealing with time travel shenanigans. Will we? This takes place right at the ending of where the movie takes place, where the Toa Metru are about to sail off into the sunset and go into Montanili, a job well done. And Vakama's like, "Oh wait, I totally forgot. A mask that controls literal time is still on the island, and we just let Makuta free, so I should probably find that." As Vakama goes to look for the mask, he finds it cracked underneath the sea. But then he is knocked unconscious by the rapids. As he wakes up, though, he is no longer a Toa. He is a Matoran now, and he is now in a new timeline where he and the Toa Metru never became Toa, but instead, 6 individuals they have met in their past have instead replaced them as the Toa Metru, the people who were always meant to be the Toa Metru. And Vakama has to figure out, is this real or is this a fake reality? I guess with this premise aside, a couple things. I don't like time travel stories that often. How does this one do? Well, let me just tell you, I was prepared when I first started reading this to say this might have been the first Bionicle book I would have hated. I almost was like, man, this was not it. And then we get halfway through the book, and I was like, oh my god, this is like peak. This is awesome. Basically, I want to get something out the way. There are things I don't like about this book that I will not like. For starters, they retconned it so that the Toa Metru knew each other before they became Toa. Even though it's heavily implied that they were strangers to each other. Literally, there's a line where it's like, well, what are we supposed to do? We're all just strangers. And someone says, well, yeah, some stranger than others. So it's kind of weird to see this. See that they knew each other. And they even played some games together, which is kind of like, I don't really believe you, but whatever. Another thing I didn't like is that Vakama knows who Takua and Jala are before the events of the first book. And I'm not saying that it's never said that they met in the first book, but I like the idea they were just people he got to know. Nothing in the lore says that they can't know each other beforehand. I think it just makes the universe feel smaller that they did. I guess that's really my issue with it.
Yeah.
And then there was also the time travel aspect, which I was really worried I wasn't going to like. I really came in this book like, I don't care about the time travel part. But oh my god, halfway through the book, you get the biggest plot twist. this is not a time travel arc. This was a heist that the Makuta was planning, basically. This was all an illusionary world that Makuta made up so that Vakama would give him the Mask of Time willingly, because Vakama the whole time is still looking for the Mask of Time, because he still thinks that this is fake. But I like how Vakama snaps out of it, because he hears Nakama say something about like how, oh yeah, this reminds us of a game we used to play. And Vakama doesn't say anything, and in the book he doesn't even address it. Later, when he deduces that this is all fake, Makuta asks, "How did you figure that out?" And Vakama's like, "Well, Nakama said something that like we didn't do until after we became Toa." And then I asked her a question that I completely made up, and she gave a bullshit answer to, and I was like, "Oh yeah, so there's a fake world." So he deduces this on his own. And from this point on, the rest of the book becomes a buddy cop adventure with Vakama and the villain of the entire series, Makuta.
The story ends with a buddy cop story is what you're telling me?
Yes, but what I love about this is like this did so much from Makuta. Up until this point, Makuta showed up twice in Bionicle stories. And usually at the end, you know, the Toa team up and they beat him and save the day. This book, its whole purpose is to reinvigorate the threat of Makuta. Because when I tell you, this guy comes across as dark side to me.
Yeah.
He cuts across. And there's no debate. Like there's no moment in the book where Makuta's like, wow, Vakama, I have a newfound respect for you. Vakama's like, listen, you're a means to an end. You're going to help me find the Mask of Time because these people betrayed me and took the mask from me, and I want it back, and you're the person who's going to help me. And Vakama's like, why should I trust you? He's like, honestly, I might kill you anyway. But you're going to do this. So, and I like how there's no camaraderie between them. They hate each other. This is a soulless partnership, basically. And they do things that show just how horrible Makuta is. There's this creature called the Vaporok. Its whole purpose is to find the Mask of Time. And it used to serve Makuta, but since Makuta's been gone for a bit, it runs into the other villain of the story called the Shadow One. And it gives the mask to him instead when it finds it. And Vaporok acts as like a guard for the Shadow One. So Makuta and Vakama run across him. Vaporok has the power where, like, if you get close to him, you age, like, instantly. So if you walk to him, you age to death, basically.
Ew, wow.
And this works with items and objects as well. And Vakama's like, I can't figure out how to get past this thing. And Makuta's like, don't worry about it. So he calls in a bunch of Rakshi. Keep in mind, the Rakshi are called the sons of the Makuta. These are his children, okay? And he says, all of you, just, like, throw yourselves at that thing. And Vakama watches as, like, bodies upon bodies of dead Rakshi just fall before the Vaporok, basically. And Makuta's like, okay, well, now that he's distracted, let's just go get the mask. And Vakama's like, but those are, like, your sons. He's like, I don't care. Basically. So, Makuta just, like, walks off. So Vakuma and Vakama continue their team up. This book also introduces, it fleshes out the Dark Hunters. We got two of them in the first book, the first Machinui book, which is Nadiki and Kreka. But in this one, we find out that the Dark Hunters is more of an order. They're an order of bounty hunters that work for the highest bidding. And they do all types of missions. And they're more freelance. They don't really work as a team unless they want to. But they do have one very important rule. If you kill one of us, we are all coming to kill you.
Whoa.
So it's basically like they're not a brotherhood until they are. And so the Shadow One is after Vakama because in the Mask of Time because he thinks Vakama is the one who killed Nadiki and Kreka. And the Shadow One is also said to be as strong as Makuta, or at least the second strongest in the Bionicle universe, which is a big deal. This also gives you a lot of anxiety as a reader too, because up until this point, even when Vakama was on his edgiest moment, Bionicle is always about working as a team to beat the bad guy. But in this book, Vakama doesn't have a team. It's him by himself. And the book makes you feel that. Every villain in this book is beyond Vakama's pay grade. And Vakama is basically in the middle of a little taff between villains. There's one moment in the book where Vakama gets like knocked out, and the Shadow One's like grabs him in the because he's gonna kill Vakama. He's gonna torture Vakama and kill him. And Makuta saves Vakama, And the Shadow One's like, oh, why are you saving this Toa? Because like, oh, I don't give a shit about the Toa. I just want the mask. And the Shadow One's like, oh, well, I mean, like Nadiki and Kreka died, so I need Vakama. And also, I'm taking this mask as compensation for my guy dying. And Makuda's like, okay, listen, how about you take Vakama, rip him to pieces if you want. Just give me the mask. Just like, we can. In fact, you know what? I will help you torture Vakama to death. We will do that together, and we can sit down and have a conversation about the mask at the same time. And it's like, Vakama's like, why am I being talked about like I'm a piece of meat here?
Hey.
And I like how like everyone's just so unapologetically evil. And there becomes a point too, and I do like that when Bakama does turn the villains against each other, like he says, actually, Shadow One, you should know this. Makuda's the one who killed Nadiki and Kreka. Not us. I mean, look at him. He has literally the parts of the people he killed. And Shadow One's like, yeah, you did kill Nadiki and Kreka. And I like how Shadow One's is like bucking up to Makuda, and Makuda's like, all right, yeah, I did it. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, listen, this is all like I'm just trying to be nice to you. But if you want to fight me, you're going to die.
Wow. Set the standards, why don't you?
Yeah. And I have so many quotes from Makuda. I'm trying to find like the one I want. But you can get a moment of like Makuda versus Kitangu. Kitangu from like the movie and the last arc as well. And Kitangu's like hyped up because he killed Sidorak, and Makuda knows he did, and so he has this line where it's like, "I see fear in your eyes, beast. Perhaps now you see that Sidorak's power was a mere fraction of my glorious darkness. How do you think the Rahaga will feel when they discover the body of their mighty ally? Will they mourn you? Or will they just decide that's one less animal to clean up?" And then he just fucking beats the fuck out of them. It's like, oh my god. And then when there's also another line or two from Makuda like too, when the Shadow One corners him, and he's like, it's me and Thopar versus you. We are 2-1. And Makuda says like, a hollow advantage, Dark Hunter. When that one is the Makuda, I will have my mask. Okay. There's just so many great quotes from him, and I like, again, this book reinvigorates the threat of Makuda. That Makuda is the biggest guy in the universe. I also like how he kind of mentors Vakama a little bit. Like he helps him understand. Like he says something like to the lines, and this is also important to later. So I will say this. Oh yeah, but there was like a moment where Vakama kind of pokes jabs at Makuda that he lost to the Telemetru for all his big talk. And Makuda's like, the reason that you beat me in the first place is because I absorbed Kreka and Nadiki, and they were fighting against me while I was fighting you. So to put this into terms that you understand, basically, I ate something and it didn't agree with me. Okay, you're not strong enough to fight me. I'm just that much stronger than you.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, but he does say, fuck, I can't find it anymore. Oh well. But there is a line that is very important that I did want to mention too. He does say something to the effects of like, Vakama says like, every time, like, we will stop you no matter what you do. And Vakama's like, listen, anytime you stop me, just know that it's not really a loss for me, it's a setback. I have plans that have plans. I have contingencies on contingencies. I know the ending of this story and you don't, okay? Even if those little victories you get, even they help me in the end. That's how much far ahead I am than you, basically.
Wow.
And I, like, again, like, really reinvigorating the threat. And I also like, we also get an expansion on the lore too. We get a massive introduction to something. So Vakama finds out that basically that, so in the last book, we found out that Vakama wasn't really, the Vakama and the Telemetry weren't supposed to be the Telemetry. It's supposed to belong to Akomo and the others whose name I forget. They're really relevant to me, but whatever. And so Vakama runs into another familiar face, Karzani, who was one of the villains earlier in this book, who Vakama thought killed himself, but apparently Karzani's still alive. And he still hates Makuda. But he explains to Vakama that, like, listen, like, it's true that Makuda altered Toa Khan's mind to pick you and the rest of the Telemetry. But have you ever thought about why he picked you guys specifically? And Vakama's like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, well, because Montanui knew, like, the Great Spirit. Like, he knew that Makuda was waiting for the next great Toa team to wake him from his slumber. And so he tricked Makuta into thinking that he had picked 6 warriors, but also implanted a little thing in his head to make him try to trick Toa Lee-Con into picking you. Basically, Makuta doesn't know, but he was played into making the right Toa team to fight him. Basically.
Don't you just love stories of time
then
shenanigans?
says something where he's like, but that doesn't explain about the evidence. There's like physical evidence of like the other Toa members that were supposed to be picked over us. And Vakama's like, and Karzani's like, well, here's the thing, Vakama. Think about it this way. There's an entire brotherhood that is loyal to Makuta. Makuta has an army of people that are loyal to him. You don't think Matanui has the same people working for him? And that's when we get the revelation that there is another faction in the Bionicle universe, and this is called the Order of Matanui. They're a secret clandestine order that works to like secretly choose who the next Toa team is and like make sure that the will of Matanui is being like adjusted correctly. And it's unclear if Makuta knows this, but it is for sure that the people, like the average citizen in the Bionicle universe, doesn't know this. Think of this as like the Illuminati in the Bionicle universe, essentially.
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy shit, this is like really cool. And also, as a result of this arc too, Makuta, the Brotherhood of Makuta are also not only going to war with the Toa, but they're also going to war with the Dark Hunters. So this is now this is expanded. This is a 4 faction war for the fate of the universe right now. I thought that was like really cool. Also, Vakama does the most gangster thing I've ever seen in this story. So he does get around the Shadow One, like he gets Makuta to fight the Shadow One. And I like how Makuta beats the Shadow One, basically. Like the Shadow One's like, you can't beat me. And Makuta says, like, bitch, like you were never a problem for me. And he grabs the Shadow One and throws him into Vaporok. And Vaporok, because he's stunned and he can't react, he ages the Shadow One up like 3,000 years, basically.
Whoa.
The Shadow One breaks free barely, and he's like, I don't know how much longer I have left. Like, he literally took almost all of my life. But I promise you, I will get my revenge on this motherfucker.
Man, can you age a plastic toy, audience? Ask yourself that.
But Makuta has Vakama captured, and Vakama is, his disc launcher is broken. He doesn't know what he's gonna do, but he now knows that he's supposed to be a Toa, so he's gonna trust his gut from here on out. And Vakama is cornered, and Makuta's like, all right, Toa, listen, you had a good run. It was all cool. Listen, I'll tell you what. How about this? I kill you, I take the mask, and then I give your corpse to your friends, and they can mourn you for a little bit before I come over there and kill them personally. Actually, I have a different idea. And Makama takes a hammer, and he starts smashing masks, because he's in like a tometry factory. And Makuta's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, did you know that the Mask of Time can work, whether it has a crack, whether it's completely whole or not? Most masks don't do that, but the Mask of Time does. And Makuda's like, what are you getting at here? And Makama's like, well, because I'm going to smash this mask right here. And when I do, the Mask of Time, when I break it, all of time's going to explode. The past, the present, the future are all going to merge together. And Makuda's like, well, I don't see how that's a problem for me. That sounds good for me. And Makama's like, not really. Because while this is happening, I will exist in all parts of time. And there will always be a version of me that will be trying to kill you. So even if you think you've killed one version of me, there's going to be another one. He's going to come in and he's going to upset your plans. Then you might kill him. But the point is, you'll never be sure that you won. If you come at me right now, I'm destroying time itself and you're going to have to deal with it. And Makuda's like, oh. Oh, wait. That's a single problem.
Don't your audience like when stories deal with time travel shenanigans, So,
yeah. Makama literally threatens a convoluted time travel plot just to get Makuta to stop. And so Makuda's like, all right, what do you want, Toa? And he's like, yeah, you got me there. What do you want? And he says, I want you to let me go home. I want you to let me take this mask. I want you to leave my friends here alone. And I want you to leave my island alone. And Makuta's like, I'll give you a year. You got 1 year of that. And then I'm going to come after you. And Vakama's like, all right, fine. And so Makuta personally sends Vakama and the Mask of Time with Vakama home. Because in Makuta's mind, he's like, I'll just get it later. It doesn't matter. I'll just get it someday. And that pretty much wraps up the story of how Vakama got the Mask of Time from Metro Nui to Matsui. But Bakuda made good on his promise. He gave Vakama and the team a year apiece. And then for the next 1,000 years, he sent an army of wild Rahi beasts to attack the island. And we know the story from there. That's when the Toa Nuva come in and they save the day 1,000 years later. But now we're all caught up with the present. We also have an ominous warning from the story as well. Someone from the future comes in to tell Vakama basically like, hey, Vakama, listen, after this adventure, you're going to have to start making some tough choices. You're not going to be a Toa anymore. And there's going to be a moment where you're going to send a new team of Toa on another mission. And it's going to be the most dangerous mission that you've ever seen in your life. And you're not going to want to do it, but you're going to have to do it anyway. And that's like the setup for the next book going forward. So, but yeah, so the book ends. Vakama vowed 1,000 years ago that one day they would come back to Metro Nui and reclaim their home. And 1,000 years passed, and thanks to the efforts of the Toa Nuva, that promise was kept. The Matoran of Motunui now have 2 islands. They can go to Motunui and Metro Nui together.
Yay!
Yeah. So, but our story is not done because the Makuta is out there still scheming, and as he said before, he has plans on top of plans on top of plans. So, you know, so the next time we come back, I don't know if we're going to be fully off Metro Nui, but I know this for sure. We will be on a new island next week. Okay. We will be on the island of Doom, and we will be learning a racial slur in the Bionicle universe.
Wow. Racial slur.
And I will be saying it a lot. So,
I'm just wondering if I could think of what the racial slur might be by the time you talk about it.
I'll tell you this: it starts with a P.
Okay.
Fans of Bionicle, you know it all too well, but you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna have a new set of villains as well. These villains, unlike previous, are gonna be they're gonna be you know in Power Rangers when they introduced the Psycho Rangers scripted?
Yeah.
We're gonna have our own Psycho Rangers.
Ooh. That's gonna be interesting.
And so that was the Metro Nui saga. We didn't really have time for me to do a retrospective. I think next week I'm going to do a retrospective on the Metro Nui and Motunui arcs to see how I feel about both of them together. But yeah, this was I will say this though, I had a lot of fun at Metro Nui. I think this was like the most fun reading I've done. Like I've been reading Marvel and DC books for a long time in my life, even Sonic books. But reading the Bionicle books has been really fun, and seeing the lore expand and grow. Watching the series grow from a kid's book to a preteen book and now to a teenager book. Hopefully, that's been really exciting. Really proud of the author for the work he's been doing. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, especially on the channel here, but I am happy that you guys sat with me and listen to me talk about it.
No, all good, man. We've been appreciating you talking about this story, the mythos, and hell, like bring up the images here, like this one right here. Like that looks like a boss, man.
Yeah, he was, and in the book he was a boss too. I said I was going to do this. I'm sorry to read this last minute, but I did want to list off some of Makuta's powers because I want this on record that this dude has an insane power set. He has shadow manipulation, heat vision, electricity, shadow shielding, as in like he can use shadows to make shields for people. Flight.
All right.
Mind reading. He can suck the air out of your lungs, and he can control your emotions.
Damn.
Wait, Bionicles need air?
I didn't think so either, but apparently they did.
Okay.
But they can't fuck, though.
No.
But they can have oxygen?
No, Greg Farshchi will fight. Even if you see a potentially romantic moment in Bionicle Universe, Greg Farshchi will come in the book and say, no, Bionicles do not have fucking. They cannot have romance. That's not true.
I just want to know what a day in the life of a doctor is like in the Bionicle world.
Yes. But yeah, next week I'll be doing my Motunui Metro Nui retrospective, and then we'll be off to the Island of Doom, one of my favorite islands in all of Bionicle lore, Boyanui. By the way, we're also out of movies to review, so it's going to be a long time before I review Bionicle 4, The Legend Reborn. It's just gonna be like months before we probably get there. But good news, everybody! Every book from here on out is gonna be a different island. So there you go.
So every time I ask you where are you in the multiverse, you're gonna give me a different answer?
Well, when every time I finish a book, it will be a different answer. You know how before, like I had to read 3 books or 2 books, and I'll be on the same island. That's not happening anymore. So
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
yes.
Anyways, let's finish. Let's wrap this up,
Yeah,
y'all.
let's wrap this up. But yeah, you know,
I gotta defeat a demon lord.
Yeah, thank you all for stopping by. I'm trying to get the music set.
Do.
No, we don't do that anymore. We evolve.
Hey,
There.
there we go.
There we
So
go.
you know, yeah, thank you guys all for stopping by. And you know, we'll see you next week. So
And don't worry,
Yeah.
y'all. Avengers Academy will be back next week.
All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Later. It's gonna be a couple seconds.